Button Press presents Peer Pressure, a Dreamboat Cruises rom-com, written and narrated by Cynthia Gunderson. Copyright 2026, Button Press. Chapter 1. Why is it that I often feel a hitch of sadness right when the happiest moments of my life begin? Like our family trip to Disneyland when I was 16, or my first spring break as a freshman in college, or the 3 weeks I had free and clear of any responsibilities between earning my associate's degree and starting my nursing program. That clock starts ticking, and it will all be over in a snap. This is one of those moments. I sit at a round table covered in crisp white linens with my 4 best friends after spending the afternoon in Venice. All of us lived in the same dorm at CU Boulder freshman year and became roommates when we moved into a house off campus during our sophomore year. After graduation, they scattered like dandelion seeds in a spring wind. And I'm the only one who ended up staying put in Boulder. Not Boulder proper, since rent was way too expensive. My boyfriend Ben and I found a townhouse in Louisville. Ex-boyfriend. He's my ex. Ben still lives in the townhouse. I temporarily took up residence in the ensuite in my parents' basement in Broomfield, which is a big reason why, even though I'm surrounded by my favorite people in the world right now, I feel a bit sad. We only have 12 days together, from Venice to Montenegro and back again, living on this beautiful little yacht, sailing around the Adriatic, eating incredible food, before I have to go back to that. Hey, Macy, you good? Laura waves her hand in front of my face like she's already tried to get my attention twice. Laura's my freckled, green-eyed beauty who took over property management for a series of vacation rentals in Vail and Beaver Creek. We had to collectively convince her to leave her flannels at home. What? I'm fine, just tired. I sweep my auburn waves over my shoulder and take a bite out of the perfectly crisp mini BLT sandwich. Delicious. It's a get-to-know-the-ship reception, and they just showed us to our assigned dining table for the rest of our stay. While tired doesn't cover it, the statement is true. On the way over, I stopped in Stuttgart, Germany for 5 days to visit our old exchange student and her family. She lived with us for a year in high school, and we became fast friends. I don't consider myself an out-of-shape person, but the hikes she took me on in the Black Forest kicked my ass. Chris pops a grape in her mouth. Whatever, you've already adjusted to the time change. I'm a total zombie. Chris, yes, that's her actual name, not short for Christy or Kristen, moved out to D.C. after college and worked her way up to campaign manager for a senator, or was it a congressman? She can talk any politician under the table. I swear, her brain moves faster than a chatbot. Gianna grins, leaning back in her seat with a sigh. That's why we have an entire day and evening to do absolutely nothing. She runs a hand through her hair, looking a little like she's been living at a wilderness retreat with her wild dark curls, turquoise earrings, and hand-twisted bracelets chained up her arm. Gianna worked for a sobriety program in Denver for a time, but then took a job in Arizona 2 years ago as a therapist for a world-class recovery center in Scottsdale, Arizona. Addie makes a sound, almost like a whimper, and when I look up, her eyes glisten with tears. I can't believe we actually made this happen. She sniffs, reaching for her napkin. Addison, with her willowy frame and long blonde hair, moved back to California when her mom got divorced for the second time, and now she's fully plugged into their all-female-owned real estate business. I can't believe we're all here either. Emotion wells up in me, and it isn't even a conscious choice to stuff it all back down. If I start crying now, I won't be able to stop. I reach for Addie's hand and squeeze. What? After 2.5 years of texts and shared influencer vacation reels, you didn't think we were serious? Comedy as a deflection from being vulnerable. My personal superpower. She laughs, swiping at her cheeks. I mean, I can't even get you to visit me up in the mountains, Laura teases. I roll my eyes. I did visit her once, though it was over a year ago, and it's not like she was volunteering to drive down to Denver on the regular. In my defense, Ben didn't like driving. It was why we chose Louisville. Our grocery store and favorite Indian restaurant were within walking distance of the house. $10 says she won't make it up to Vail before September, Gianna says, slapping a bill on the table. Everyone, including me, busts up laughing. I can't remember who started it, but somewhere along the way, bets kind of became our thing. Back in freshman year, Chris bet Addie $20 that she wouldn't audition for the musical Peter Pan playing at a local dinner theater. Addie had been going on and on the entire semester about performing locally, yet somehow found a way out of every single audition. But that time, she was in dire need of cash and sacked up for the cattle call. And landed the role of Tinkerbell. Since then, anytime one of us is too scared or stubborn to do something, money hits the table. I take another bite of my sandwich. You're on, babe. Damn it, now I'll have to drive up the pass during Colorado's hurricane season. My car is little more than an aluminum can, and it catches the wind off the Rockies like a sailboat. But I've never lost a friend bet, and I'm not about to start now. Before Gianna can pull her hand back, Chris pipes up. No, if we're going to make a bet, it needs to be bigger than that. She crosses her arms, her eyes narrowing. I frown, wiping my fingers on my napkin. I've got nothing worth betting on. What, are you going to bet that I can't break up with Ben? Too late, already did that. Addie smirks. Did you, though? Eesh, that was a low blow. I know she's kidding, but all four of them have been on my case about getting out of this relationship since last summer. There are women who do breakups with dignity, good timing, and clean emotional exit strategies. Then there's me, who treats breakups like ripping off a wax strip in the same location 6 times because I'm just not sure I got everything. The real truth is, I didn't break up with Ben. He broke up with me. Shame spikes in my gut as I spear a piece of grilled zucchini with more force than it deserves. We broke up. Does it matter how it happened? Laura lifts her wine glass. To Ben, who finally saw the writing on the wall so you didn't have to stay another 2 years before— Oh, okay. I blow out a breath. Gianna snags my hand, squeezing it like I did Addie's a moment ago. It's all right. I have a sugar problem. You have a breakup problem. Same. I don't have a breakup problem. You stayed with a man who pronounced espresso with an X? I snort, remembering Liam, the pre-law guy I was with before Ben. We were together almost a year and a half. He had some admirable qualities. I try to come up with a good example, but all I can think about are the holes in his boxer briefs. Chris shakes her head. You can't keep being so nice. You're going to end up in a marriage you don't want just because you're afraid to hurt the guy's ego. I purse my lips, praying Laura doesn't say anything. She knows that Ben brought up marriage. He didn't buy a ring or anything, but I didn't exactly shut it down, even though I had IBS for 3 days after. I take a gulp of my lemon water. I can hurt a man's ego. I just wasn't sure it was time to end it, you know? You were sure, Laura murmurs, and I shoot her a look. Since when did this become an intervention? I didn't travel halfway across the world for my friends to tell me I suck at life. Chris laughs. You don't suck at all of life. Thank you. She gives me an "aw, I'm sorry" look and says, you just need some practice. Like a fling, Gianna says, nearly flicking her American $10 bill onto the floor. I blink. What? A fling, Gianna repeats, delighted. A hot, temporary, low-stakes vacation romance, and you have to break it off at the end. I laugh so hard I nearly inhale a crouton. No. Yes. Laura jumps on the bandwagon. Absolutely not. I'm here to hang out with you guys. I just broke up with Ben. You've never once in your life done anything romantically irresponsible. Addie cuts me off. Hey, I dated a drummer in college. Laura waves a hand. No, you dated a pre-law student with bongos. Still counts. I want in. Chris drops another 50 on top of Gianna's tenor. I bet you can't do it. I slap my hands to the table and hiss, I can totally do a fling if I want to. I just don't want to. Addie slaps 2 20s onto the pile. Are you serious right now? I gesture at them like they're toddlers stomping around in mud puddles in their socks. We are here on a friend's vacation. I'm here to spend time with you, not prove a point by cavorting with some hot guy I barely know. I wasn't expecting an introduction. A man's voice sounds above us, and I cut off mid-sentence. All 5 of us look up to see a very tall, dark, and scruffily handsome man in a maroon heather t-shirt and khakis standing next to the one empty chair at our table, his hands clasping the upholstered back. Hot guy you barely know? He gestures to himself and grins. And you are? I'm speechless. My mouth hangs open while I blink like a teenage girl at the optometrist. He scrubs a hand over his jaw. Sorry, I'm Noah. I was making a joke, but seems like that didn't land, so... Gianna throws her hand out. No, it was funny. We were just in the middle of something. Noah's eyes drop to the pile of cash on the table, and his eyebrow quirks. Then he smiles, and it's like I'm looking straight into the sun. His eyes squinch. He has a dimple in his right cheek. I don't do lap dances. Addie laughs like a maniacal clown. Oh, no, this is for nothing, I say, the threat of mortification enough to force an actual word out of my mouth. Are you on the staff or something? There had to be some reason why he approached our table out of the blue. He chuckles. Nope, but my brother is. Noah turns his head as if trying to spot him. He grins when he catches the attention of a man in a linen suit across the room who starts toward us. By the looks on my friends' faces, we all make the realization at the same time as the man reaches our table. This guy's brother is the cruise director. He greeted us as we came through the sliding glass doors from the gangplank into the lobby. We may have talked about him for the next 5 minutes, trying to place his dark features and barely their European accent, for purely educational purposes. Ah, I see you found your table. Our cruise director greets his brother with a clap to the back. He's more classically handsome, and if I had to guess, the older of the two by a few years. Wait, did he just say, your table? You're hilarious, our new friend says. I read our cruise director's name tag. Joshua. Germany. I'm equal parts curious and confused. Joshua laughs and squeezes his brother's shoulder, then looks between the 5 of us. If you've been on a dreamboat luxury cruise before, you know that we take pride in our sociality and comfort. While you can come and go for breakfast and lunch, you'll have the same assigned table for dinner each night. Gianna has, in fact, been on a luxury cruise before, and she warned us that we may be combined with another group for dinner. But when they led us to this 6-top table for the 5 of us, I assumed we'd gotten lucky. The rest of the 70-plus crowd on this ship might enjoy this sociality, but I have to talk with strangers plenty back home in Colorado. I'm not looking for more small talk, even if it sounds prettier here. It just so happens, Joshua continues, that these lovely ladies are traveling in a group of 5. Since you're solo... He shrugs and motions to the 6th seat. Addie lights up just as a rush of abject horror swallows my body. You're sitting with us? Addie says, pulling out the chair next to her. That's amazing. Not amazing. I'm here to spend time with my girlfriends, and as soon as a guy, especially a good-looking guy, is present, those conversations change. Addie's whole body language has already changed. She's sitting like a dancer, perfect posture and flipping her hair over her shoulder instead of tucking it in the back of her shirt or twisting it up with a pen like she always does. Joshua holds his brother back, not letting him sit quite yet. Ladies, this is my baby brother, Noah. He's fresh out of medical school and has a month before he starts his residency. He's smart as hell and needs a break from reality. He pauses, then slows his delivery. I'm trusting you not to be bad influences on him. He gives an over-exaggerated wink and musses Noah's hair. Noah slaps his hand away and escapes, dropping into the chair next to Addie. Gianna looks at the pile of cash, then at me, her eyes wide. She mouths, He's a doctor? Double damn it. I'll never hear the end of this. Too late, I think. Noah scoots closer to the table, pointing at the pile of cash. Joshua's eyebrows raise. Oh, shit. I mean, wow. He pretends to button up and be professional. I don't do lap dances. So, now we know where Noah learned it. Noah guffaws. That's what I said. They fist bump. I'm wondering if we're being pranked because this guy doesn't seem like he could do anything beyond kissing a boo-boo in an emergency. Addie reaches for the cash in a manner that can only be described as feline. As I tried to explain earlier, this is actually gambling cash. Joshua gives her a look. Oh, yeah? Already prepping for Montenegro? Laura shakes her head. It's a bet. Our friend Macy here has the next 12 days to win or pay up. I never took the bet, I say, my cheeks flaming. We all know it isn't optional. Once a bet has been laid, it has to be played. Chris raises a brow, and I hold up a finger. Come on, this is taking it a little too far. What's the bet? Joshua asks, leaning over the table like a vulture about to devour a fresh kill. He looks even more sculpted up close. Damn his chiseled, clean-shaven jaw. My friends can't resist answering. Macy sucks at breaking up with people, Chris says. Wow. I nod my head. Nothing like airing dirty laundry in front of total strangers. At least it's not small talk. We bet her that she couldn't have a fling on this trip. Gianna grins, propping her head in her hands. She looks like a Disney princess, fluttering eyelashes and all. I scoff. I could easily do a fling, okay? This isn't the time or place to— You're right, Laura cuts me off. College was the time and place, but you were with Bongo Guy. Bongo Guy? Noah smirks. I ignore him. It was a stage. Chris laughs. It wasn't a stage. You're the most hopeful person I know, Mace. You're willing to suffer for years because you give people the benefit of the doubt. We only want you to figure out what you want, to take what you want, to know that you're worth more than what some deadbeat guy who refuses to get in his car and drive more than once a week is willing to give you. She says it with a smile, but her words cut deep. What I want? I purse my lips, pressure building behind my eyes. Chris sees the look on my face and her mouth drops. She's about to give some kind of apology that will likely only make things worse when Joshua lets out a sigh. Well, wow. He plants his hands on his hips and nods his head a couple of times, then points at his brother. If you need a fling. Josh? Noah's smirk is gone. He holds up a hand, but Joshua's already talking. Noah will 100% do it. Chapter 2. As if the ship hears Joshua's pronouncement, there's a jolt, then a grumble of an engine. The sky outside the window is all honey and blush, and the reflections of the water turn Venice into a trembling watercolor. It almost distracts me from panic. Joshua, I say with all the calm I can muster, you cannot auction off your family like a European goat farmer. Joshua grins at me. Redheads, you're spicy. He has the kind of face that looks both mature and playful, a face that encourages people to trust him, which I imagine is very useful in his line of work. It's a win-win, really, because— Thank you, Noah cuts in. I think— He doesn't get to finish his thought because the hospitality director is on the microphone making an announcement about the chef and dinner menu. They expect us to eat again after all this? Addie whispers. She smiles like she's narrating an expensive lifestyle reel, and in her white sundress, she could be. I wait for Noah to glance over, to look her up and down because he can't help himself, but he doesn't. Laura accepts a celebratory glass of champagne from a passing waiter, then studies me with the delighted focus of someone watching a raccoon figure out a vending machine. Would you do it? With Noah? My eyes widen, and Noah nearly chokes on his water. No, she stifles a laugh. I mean, yes, but no, I meant have a fling. A couple at the table next to us looks over, and my face flushes. Why are we even talking about this? I hiss. Agreed. Noah nods, clearing his throat. Joshua shushes them and points to his colleague, who's expounding on Italian cuisine. For a second, I think Noah might stand up and tackle him into the bar. The murder in his eyes warms my heart, which actually isn't helpful. There's no part of me that needs to be attracted to a hot guy I barely know right now, but seeing him uncomfortable makes me feel weirdly protective. Definitely only because we have a common enemy, and not due to the savior complex Gianna diagnosed me with on our call over Christmas. Chris leans back in her chair, one arm slung over it, scanning the room. After a few seconds, she says, I think he might be your only option. Her eyes flick to Joshua. Unless you count the staff. Joshua waits for the applause to die down at the end of the hospitality director's speech, then leans in. As much as I'd love to provide another alternative, any member of our staff would lose their job if they became romantically entangled with a guest during their stay. I straighten in my seat as conversation resumes around us. Maybe I'm into older men, or maybe I'll do more of like a day fling thing. Laura snorts. A day fling? Yeah, just really quick. Get it over with, a rideshare driver or something. Noah looks down at his plate like he's trying very hard not to laugh. The effort fails. His mouth twitches. Unfortunately, I notice. Also, unfortunately, his mouth is excellent. Gianna shakes her head. No, if it's someone at a port, of course you have to leave at the end of the day. The ship would do the breaking up for you. This has to be a choice. You need to see that saying those words will make someone angry or uncomfortable or sad, but you need to do it because it's the right thing for you. I cross my arms over my chest. Look at you, using your powers for evil. Joshua is spirited away by another staff member, and Noah jumps up from his seat so fast that his chair nearly falls over. Heading to the bar, he says, and I second that motion. I hop up and give my friends a scathing look. You all need to apologize to that poor doctor. See, that's your problem, Chris starts, but I'm already halfway past our table. I round the end of the would-be buffet table and step into line behind Noah at the pop-up bar. Tomorrow night, everything will be white glove, but tonight, it's got more of a cocktail party feel. Servers are still passing appetizers around on silver platters while other staff members deliver tonight's menus to the table. Noah looks back and notices me. Oh, hey. Hey. I rock on my heels. Good hideout you have here. He lets out a puff of air. Not sure how long it will last. Yeah. I glance back at our table. They hunt in packs. That gets a full-bodied laugh out of him. Is your track record with men really that bad? My eyebrows jump. Really? That's what we're talking about? How about explaining why your brother just volunteered you to be my cruise boyfriend? You're her cruise boyfriend? An older woman wearing a tight, low-cut white shirt and a fringe vest peers around Noah's shoulder. Noah stumbles over an explanation, but I don't hear what he's saying because I'm distracted by his ears, turning pink at the tops. When the silence stretches for a beat too long, I snap out of it and look up to see Noah staring at me. You good? He asks. Mm-hmm. I flash a smile. His brow furrows, but he nods, then steps forward as the line moves. So, Macy with a breakup problem, what do you do for a living? I'm a nurse. I do end-of-life care. You? I wince and shake my head. No, sorry. I remember you just finished medical school. Noah nods. Right, I didn't know you were in the medical world too. Pretty pathetic, really, considering how long we've known each other. Noah drops his head with a grin, and his hair falls over his forehead. He looks like he's going to say something, but stops, frowns, then shoves his hands in his pockets. My heart starts to race. Have I offended him? Did he think I was serious? Sorry, I was kidding. I say, just as Noah says, hypothetically, what would a vacation fling look like? I blink, wondering if I heard him right. I mean, Noah stops, catching his breath. If someone were to do it, what exactly would that involve? My pulse kicks. The fling, not, just to be clear. Right, yes, important distinction. I stare at him for one long second, taking in the warm brown of his eyes, the rough line of stubble along his jaw, the slight flush still high in his cheekbones. Is he actually considering? I was serious when I said this trip was about my friends, but they were right in their assessments. I do suck at standing up for myself and telling other people what I need, and not just with men. I've done it my whole life, and with the way Chris's words punched through my heart, she was probably onto at least a part of the reason why. Maybe they're right. Maybe I do need to practice standing up for myself, and maybe a vacation is the perfect place to try. If I make a mess of the whole thing, I'll never have to see the person again. I swallow hard. There would need to be rules, hypothetically. His shoulders relax. Right, that makes sense. We move forward another few inches. Are the people in front of us ordering Negronis? But is that really a fling? He asks. What do you mean? I don't know. If you go into it knowing it's fake, does it still count? I chew my lower lip. I'm pretty sure when we did IV practice on each other, it still counted. Noah laughs. Fair. So what, you practice being in a relationship? Like role-playing? Something in my chest warms. Role-playing. That's exactly what it would be. I'm not sure that's what my friends were suggesting, but it sounds perfect. If I don't know how to advocate for myself in real life, why not pretend first? See what it feels like, so I'll have something to fall back on when I need to do it for real? Yes, exactly. We could do coupley things and I could figure out how to not be a total pushover. I'm grinning until I realize what I just said. I mean, not we, just proverbial. You know. Yeah, I know. He rakes a hand through his hair. The line moves again. He's now only one person away from the front. We stand there in awkward silence for what feels like 10 minutes. Then Noah steps up to order his drink. I spin in a slow circle and am about to walk back to my table because I didn't even want a drink in the first place when someone touches my arm. I flinch and look up. Noah is staring back at me. What's your drink order? Oh, I'm good. It's what an interested party would do, right? Ask for your drink order. If he'd thrown a glass of cold water in my face, I couldn't have been more shocked. I lean in and lower my voice. What are you doing? He fiddles with the clasp on his watch. I think I want to do it. Why? For the life of me, I can't think of a single reason why a handsome, smart, probably younger than me doctor would want to mess up his vacation by pretending to be some random girl's boyfriend. Noah talks fast. I came on this trip because I haven't seen Josh in almost 10 years. After his first year of college in the States, he studied abroad in Germany and never came home. With COVID and him getting a job with Dreamboat, his breaks have never lined up with mine. So when I got this time off, he offered to take me out and I said yes. But I'm a single guy alone on a cruise ship with couples celebrating their 40th wedding anniversaries. Josh is available on a few of our travel days to hang out, but he's running the trip. It sounds nice to have another person to hang out with. I stare at him. That was a pretty damn good reason. Okay. He straightens. So, drink order? I square my shoulders. I'm not in the mood for a drink right now. Thank you. Noah's mouth quirks. Got it. Meet you back at our table? I nod, and he turns back to the bar. Oh, hells yes. This is going to be the easiest friends bet I've ever won. Chapter 3. I wonder if IKEA consulted on our cruise cabins. In a space smaller than my apartment kitchen, there are somehow 2 twin beds, a chair, a vanity, a bathroom with a shower, and a full-sized closet. Gianna sits cross-legged on her mattress in a cream lounge set with a lavender eye mask pushed up like a headband and a line of essential oils on the bedside table as if she's opening a remote natural grocer's. I just want to say, I tell her, hauling my suitcase onto the luggage rack with a grunt. I appreciate that you made the room smell like a spa before I even found my toothbrush. Gianna laughs. Don't knock it till you try it. I grin and pull out the vial of some herbal concoction she sent me for my birthday in January. Not even knocking it. I love this stuff. I crack the balcony door open, letting in the low hush of water and the clean night air off the Adriatic. Venice is long behind us now. Outside, there's only pitch black with ship lights reflecting in broken ribbons over the inky sea. I unzip my suitcase. Gianna lies back on the pillows, rubbing one of her oils into her temples. We need to life debrief. There's nothing to debrief. It's true. Everything in my life has been basically the same since we last talked, except Ben is no longer in it. Aha! She lifts one knee to her chest and exhales, then does the same with her opposite leg. There's no point in fighting this. Gianna has that rare combination of warmth and steel. She'll hand you tea, validate your pain, and then very gently drag you by your ankles into telling the truth. I flop onto my bed. Wendy's doing better. Oh, yeah? She'll probably be gone soon. We aren't supposed to have favorite patients, but Wendy is my favorite. She's hilarious, witty, and obsessed with nail polish. I look forward to our chats every day I'm at work. Gianna flips to her side. I'm so sorry. I know you love her. I sigh. It's how it always works. They decline, and then there's this little bump at the end, like a little respite before it gets really rough. I'm so sorry. I smile. There is nothing to be sorry about. I've seen so many of my patients die, it isn't scary anymore. Of everyone in our friend group, Gianna would likely understand my feelings best, so I tell her. It's spiritual. Being there, like, I don't know, there's energy or something. It feels holy. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it's the best I can do. Her eyes brighten. I know exactly what you mean. We launch into a discussion about a teenager she lost to an eating disorder last fall. Our work isn't the same, but there are so many parallels. It's staggering. Although I wipe far more butts than she does. I'm yawning and nearly ready to brush my teeth and nod off when both of our cell phones light up. Is it only 8 o'clock? Trivia in the lounge? The text is from Addie. I groan and Gianna laughs, swinging her feet to the floor. Come here. I narrow my eyes. Why? Because I need to fix your curls. My curls are fine. They're all frizzy. I can't argue with that. I force myself off the bed and sit at the vanity while Gianna forages for her spray bottle and curl cream like some benevolent forest witch. In the mirror, the difference between the two of us is stark. Her curls are glossy and smooth. Mine look like they've been combed through by feral cats. She mists my hair. So, you and Noah. There it is. I made the announcement at dinner to shut them up, but we didn't have time to discuss. Yep, me and Noah, my homework partner. Gianna snorts. I think it might be the best idea I've ever had. Hey, yeah, why are you not telling me more of these ideas? Don't you counsel people for a living? I counsel people through recovery. You don't want my dating advice. But you don't get stuck in waste-of-time relationships. But I do let a sound bath DJ ruin 3 months of my life because he has puppy dog eyes and a truck. I stare at her reflection. A sound bath DJ? Oh, he was so hot in almost a biodegradable way. What? I choke on my laugh. What does that even mean? Hold still. She smears curl cream on my forehead. He only had one fork in his entire apartment. Why did he only have one fork? Because he believed consumerism created energetic stagnation. So he didn't have any income? Thank you. She points at me in the mirror. Exactly, and I knew that. And still there I was, 45 minutes outside Scottsdale in the desert, smoking peyote while he explained the properties of moon water. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. Once my hair is done, it takes us a few extra minutes to get ready because I have to redo my mascara. By the time we meet Addie and Laura in the hall, I'm in a linen skirt and a black top that makes my now tamed strawberry waves pop. Addie changed 4 times, according to a less than pleased Laura, but she does look incredible in a silky green set and gold hoops. Laura is casual in white jeans and a navy sweater that slubs over one shoulder. We cute, I tease. We start down the corridor as Laura fills us in on Chris, who's gone to bed early. Do we think she's actually sleeping? I ask. Addie nods. She's wrecked. But she also hates trivia, so... Laura shrugs. The lounge is up the stairs to the second floor and tucked away at the back of the ship. It's beautiful, with polished wood and deep blue carpeting. A trio plays old jazz standards near the bar, and we're lucky we came up when we did. Most of the seats are already taken. We find a booth in the back corner, and Laura leans in. Do you think we're the youngest people here by 20 or 30 years? That means we're doing something right. Addie drops into the upholstered seat. Living like we're retired in our almost 30s. I sit down next to her. Is taking a 2-week vacation only reasonable if you're getting Social Security? Or do people our age actually prefer to plan the whole trip themselves? Hike from place to place and stay in hostels? That sounds like a lot of work. Hey! Laura points out Joshua at the front of the room with a microphone and a stack of cards, but it's not him that holds my attention. Noah is across the room at a table full of men with silver hair or bald spots, all dressed in pressed polo shirts. They're gathered around him like he's telling war stories. One heavyset man laughs and pats his shoulder. Another, in a Navy captain's hat, leans in to say something that makes Noah throw his head back and grin. I think he's their pet, I say. There's no old adage that says watching a man get adopted by wealthy retirees will make your ovaries twitch. And yet... Why are they so obsessed with him? Addie asks. Because he looks like he can lift furniture, Laura says, and I bark a laugh. She isn't wrong. My dad adopted 3 seniors in high school from his church congregation the year he sold his house and moved. Noah glances up like he feels us looking. His eyes find mine, and there it is again, that tensing of his body. He's either afraid of me or having bowel issues. I'm going with the latter. He gives a half smile, then drops his gaze as Joshua taps the mic. Good evening, brilliant people, and people who wandered in because they heard there were free drinks. A ripple of laughter goes through the room. Welcome to Dreamboat's trivia night. No phones, no cheating, no blood feuds unless you take it to the top deck and make it entertaining. This gets more laughter, and I can't help but grin. The jokes are beyond terrible, which means I love them so much. The first round begins. Joshua can barely finish the introduction without getting interrupted. The man in the captain's hat shouts out, Hurry it up, John. Joshua shakes his head. Not my name, Richard. The captain laughs. It's Randy. Isn't that what I said? Joshua flashes him a cheeky smile. This is already amazing, Laura whispers. I want to be like them when I grow up, Gianna says, as we watch the old men high-five Noah like they've been best friends for 1,000 years. Noah said he's traveling solo, so why does it feel like he's their long-lost grandson? Maybe there are perpetual cruisers? Joshua knew them already and introduced Noah, just like he did for our table. Joshua starts the game with easy questions first. Capitals, authors, famous landmarks. Gianna knows art history. Addie dominates a category on luxury brands. Laura is terrifyingly good at geography, and I contribute in spurts, mostly literature, anything medical, and random historical facts I acquired as a nerdy child with library access. Across the room, Noah's table works as a well-oiled machine. They put their heads together, and then Noah's scribbling before we can come up with an initial idea. Joshua asks, What is the only mammal capable of true sustained flight? Sustained flight? What did that even mean? Wait, are birds mammals? Addie says aloud. Do they have hair? Do they nurse their young? Laura somehow says without an ounce of judgment. Addie deflates. Oh, yeah. Gianna's face scrunches. It has to be a bat, right? That's a mammal. My eyes light up. Yes! I write it on our paper. By question 10, most of the room has either been distracted by conversation or pivoted into wine consumption. We hand in our sheets along with 4 other groups, including Noah and his old boys club. Joshua tallies the scores, and when he comes back on the mic, he's got a goofy grin on his face. Well, well, well. It looks like we have a tie. A few hoots and hollers sound around the lounge, and Joshua raises one hand. That means sudden death tiebreaker. 1 representative from each team. First correct answer wins. Joshua's gaze snaps to me. Our first challenger is you, in the black shirt. I give him a look. He knows my name. I saw him talking with Noah after dinner, and the smirk he's wearing tells me I'm right to assume he's messing with me. Go! Addie laughs, and when everyone around us starts to cheer, I resign myself to my fate. I'm not getting out of it without looking like a party pooper. Joshua hums and haws, pretending to search the other group for a contender, and just happens to call out his brother. The old men at his table react like we're contestants on The Price is Right. One of them yells, No mercy, Doc. My palms start to sweat. How the hell am I supposed to win a trivia challenge against a doctor? Hopefully the question will be on Ted Lasso or the Ruby Frankie documentary, because those are the only recent events I'm an expert on. Noah stands, rubbing the back of his neck as he walks toward the front. He catches my eye on the way and gives me a helpless half shrug that makes my stomach flip. He makes these shy movements when attention is on him, shrinking into himself. And I can't tell if it's a play at pretend humility or if he honestly doesn't know how easy on the eyes he is. We arrive at the table, and Josh holds the mic like he's announcing an MMA fight. Hands at your sides, no shouting or hints from the audience. When you know the answer, slap your hand on the table. If you answer and get it wrong, your opponent will get the chance to answer. Are we clear on the rules? He looks between us both. This is for all the marbles, and by marbles I mean a bottle of champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries. I glance at the bar behind him and see a beautifully wrapped gift basket. My table cheers. They might want that champagne, but no prize in the world is worth the panic attack I'm about to have. At least Noah looks equally uncomfortable standing across from me. We both nod, and Joshua clears his throat. He reads from the card. Which Star Wars movie does the line, Luke, I am your father, come from? My brain leaps. Huh! I know this! My dad was obsessed with Star Wars, and I've watched the original trilogy at least 5 times. I slap my hand on the table. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. The room erupts with cheers. But Josh doesn't celebrate. The tips of Noah's ears turn pink. What? Is that incorrect? Noah, would you like to try? Josh says. Noah swallows hard. It takes him a moment, and then he says, none of them. I frown. What? The actual quote is, no, I am your father. My cheeks flush. Was it possible that I'd misremembered it all these years? Noah watches my face. I smile and try to pass, it's not a big deal, telepathically. Did I feel a little stupid? Sure, but the fact that I knew Empire Strikes Back had to count for something. Joshua hands his brother the prize basket, but Noah's eyes are still on me, a slight furrow in his brow. It's fine, I mouth. Congrats. Joshua lifts the mic, eyes dancing. An impressive effort from Macy, but the prize goes to the most eligible bachelor on board. Noah's table cheers, and one 70-year-old woman dressed in a sequined wrap dress wolf whistles. Back at the table, the girls close ranks. That was a trick question, Gianna says. Well, it is trivia. I drop back into my seat. Laura leans in. He wasn't looking at the card when he said that question. I frown. Why does that matter? She raises a brow. Because I think he made it up, so his brother would win. I consider this as a memory floods my mind. Me sitting at the kitchen table with my older sister Paige. It had been weeks since she'd come home for dinner, and the tension in the room was palpable. I searched for something to say and brought up the High School Musical because a friend informed me that Paige had auditioned and gotten the lead. It gave her the chance to share the good news with her parents before they could jump down her throat about her failing grades or, how she wasn't living with us because she couldn't stop smoking weed. I understand throwing your sibling a bone. But why would Joshua feel the need to do that with Noah? He's going to be a doctor, while Josh is a cruise director. Not that I'm judging, but based on societal standards of success, that table should be tilted in the opposite direction. We make our way to our rooms, half of our group still fighting significant jet lag. Inside our room, I kick off my sandals and head straight for the balcony. I've never been happier that we spent the extra money for an exterior cabin. Tonight, the sea is black velvet under a half moon. Behind me, Gianna changes into a soft, oversized t-shirt and starts taking pins out of her hair. It's weird, right? The whole thing with Joshua and Noah. What do you mean? I call back. I don't know. It seems like there's something going on between them. Maybe there's some big family secret. I lean on the railing, the cool breeze threading through my hair. It's so easy to make up stories about the brothers, considering my recent documentary consumption. When questioned, Noah gave a reasonable explanation for coming on a cruise solo. But why is a guy like that single? How does he not have some beautiful girlfriend or wife? And why does Josh treat him like he needs hand-holding? Maybe he's like Dr. Death, Gianna says. He faked his way through medical school. Total sociopath. I snort. I mean, he does fit the bill. Dashing, charming. A shiver travels up my arms. Isn't this the start of some horror novel? Maybe Noah was a little too eager to join this fling bet. I turn, about to respond, when there's a knock on the door. We both look up. Gianna's in her bra, so I walk back inside and make my way past the bed to answer. When I open the door, the hallway is empty. Just the soft gold corridor lights, the hum of the ship, and the prize basket from trivia. The champagne and chocolate strawberries. Well, most of them. It looks like a couple are missing. I bend down to pick it up and notice a folded piece of paper shoved in the side. I take the basket into the room and Gianna's eyes widen. Is this when he poisons us? She hops off the bed and yanks the bottle from the basket, inspecting the seal. I set the basket on the counter and flip open the note. His handwriting at least corroborates his doctor story. It's barely legible. I didn't feel good about taking this. Josh knows I'm a Star Wars nerd, so he knew I'd know the answer to that one. Not exactly fair. Oh, and I gave this to the staff to deliver to you, so I don't know your room or anything. Okay. Noah. Okay. I flip the page over, not sure what I'm looking for. What kind of note was that? You're grinning. Gianna pulls the note from my hand. I'm not... I purse my lips, waiting for her to read it. When she finishes, she gives me a look. Oh, maybe not a sociopath. I take the note back. That's what convinced you? She nods, dropping onto the bed and grabbing her phone. I'm texting the other rooms. We can't drink this by ourselves. I laugh. So, not poison? No way. If he were trying to seduce his next victim, he'd be better at it. I grab a strawberry and sit next to her. So, family secret. She nods, her eyes lighting up. Definitely family secret. I take a bite of the strawberry, cupping my hand beneath my chin so the chocolate doesn't crack and drop onto the white bedding. They're coming over. Gianna tosses her phone to the bed. She grins at me. He sent you champagne and strawberries. He righted a grievous trivia wrong, I say through a mouthful of chocolate strawberry. It's romantic. He's clearing his conscience. Big difference. She laughs. Whatever. This fling is on, babe, and the ball's in your court. Chapter 4. I awake before my alarm and have a moment of panic before I remember where I am. My phone shows it's barely past 6. We agreed to meet for breakfast at 8 so we'd have plenty of time to brush our teeth before joining the walking tour at our first stop. The ship is quiet, so we must have pulled into port during the night. I lie back and close my eyes, hoping I can fall back asleep, but within 5 minutes, I accept that it's not happening. I do the mental math to conclude it's 11 o'clock at night back home. Not that I'd call anyone from Croatia, but after thinking about my sister last night, the thought does cross my mind to text her. I brush it aside and get up, padding into the bathroom and closing the door so the light doesn't wake Gianna. She's got her white noise blaring and an eye mask strapped to her face, so I doubt there's much risk of that. I wash my face, pull on my leggings and a tank, then make sure I have my room key before I exit into the hall. One of the staff on the main level shows me where to check out a yoga mat, and by the time I push out onto the top deck, the sky is just beginning to open. For a second, everything else drops away. The horizon is a wash of pale gold and soft rose, the sun not quite yet risen. On one side, the sea is glassy and glittering blush. On the other, the coastline of Rovine emerges from the mist. Clustered buildings in warm terracotta and faded pastel, the bell tower rising like something out of a painting you'd see in a museum gift shop and think, no place actually looks like that. Well, turns out it does. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world to be standing here. Like I've just been let in on a secret. The air is cool and clean, brushing against my skin as I unroll my mat just off the running track, positioning myself so I can see both the horizon and the town. I'm an alternate version of myself at this moment, more enlightened. It's as if I went to sleep last night and woke up in a different timeline. I'm a woman who goes to bed at a reasonable hour and wakes with the sun, who drinks water with lemon in the morning and says no to processed sugar or clothing made in Malaysia. It's a fun part to play, if only for the next 12 days. I stand at the top of my mat, feet grounded, hands at my sides. Breathe in, breathe out. I move into a sun salutation, and it's pure pleasure. The rhythm of it, the stretch, forward fold, half lift, step back, plank. The muscle memory takes over, and it isn't until I've gone through the flow 3 times that I open my eyes and catch movement. Someone's on the track. I blink. The man is on the other side of the deck, but it's definitely Noah. He's in a dark shirt that clings to his shoulders, and his hair is messy from sleep. His stride is smooth and relaxed. With the sunrise in the background, it feels like I'm watching an Asics commercial. I snap my eyes forward as he approaches the turn. Has he noticed me already? I have no idea if this is his first lap or if he's already run past me. With my luck, it was probably when I was in downward dog. My mind races for any exercise I can do that won't put me in an embarrassing position while also making me look graceful and athletic. Oh, and keeps my eyes pointed in the opposite direction as he runs past. I land on a very slow and drawn-out Warrior 2. This time, I hear his footsteps as he jogs past and switch positions as soon as he's ahead of me so it doesn't look like I'm doing nothing. As far as I know, none of us died from ingesting the food he sent last night, so he's earned points there. Also, he seems completely invested in his run, even though I'm alone up here. A perfect opportunity for a creeper. How ridiculous is it that these kinds of thoughts spin in my head, whether I'm on a cruise ship or walking in an empty parking lot? I wonder if all women lose mental space to security concerns, or if it's just my overimaginative brain. Or if I'm only searching for a reason to get out of this bet gracefully. Part of me wants to stiff-arm any attraction or desire I feel toward men at the moment. While I like the idea of practice, I don't trust myself. Maybe it's the deep breathing or the absolute quiet, but truth bubbles up from Chris's comments from yesterday. And maybe I don't believe I'm worthy of more happiness, but that doesn't quite cover it. The reality is, I don't break up with people because I don't believe there's anything better, period. It's not like everyone around me is in successful relationships and I'm the odd woman out. What if a guy who sits at home playing Call of Duty every night is the best option available? Are my only choices a video game addict or staying single in some defiant protest to the current state of society? The sun fully pokes up over the horizon, and as light hits my face, I drop into a strength and balance flow. Noah passes multiple times, but his presence loses all power of distraction now that I'm filled with feminine rage. My muscles shake by the time I roll up my mat. The sun has lifted fully into the sky, spilling gold across the water in the town. The bell tower catches the light first, glowing above the rest of Rovine. Good morning. I jump and turn at the sound of Noah's voice. Sorry. He drops his eyes with a shy grin. I thought you knew I was here. I collect myself. No, I did. I mean, I saw you running, but I didn't know you stopped. He nods, shaking his hair out of his eyes. Sweat beads on his forehead, but he barely looks flushed. More like someone spritzed him with a water bottle for a product placement photo shoot. Voices sound at the other end of the deck. There are more morning walkers now, a few people having coffee at a shaded table. You're up early, Noah says. So are you. Yeah, couldn't sleep. Same. He nods. New place, new schedule. Right. I search for something to say. Oh, thank you for the gift basket last night. You didn't need to do that. He glances toward the horizon, then back at me. My brother has this protective thing. I hated it when we were kids, but it might be worse now that we're adults. I smile. I get that. I have an older sister. I didn't actually know what it felt like for an older sibling to be protective. My sister had her own crap to deal with then and now, but I don't want to say anything that would make Noah think I was judging him. We stand there for a second, both looking out over the coastline. Then he says, I should probably get ready for the tour. I glance down at my phone. It's only 7 o'clock and my stomach's starting to grumble. Hopefully the girls will be up early. Otherwise, I might be having breakfast solo. I glance up, wondering if I should invite Noah, but do you want to have breakfast together? He asks. I start to decline, but my mouth opens and closes. What am I doing? I was just about to invite him anyway, wasn't I? I feel like a stray cat, wary and skittish, possibly related to the murder talk with Gianna, but Noah is so obviously a normal person, it's silly. Gianna's right. The ball is absolutely in my court. Noah and I came to an agreement in front of the bar last night, and since then I've done nothing to move forward with this whole friend bet fling thing. But Noah? He's killing it, whether intentionally or not. He sent over a gift basket and now he's inviting me to breakfast? Am I in or am I out? Shower first? I squeak, holding up my mat. Why is this so damn hard? It isn't like I have to convince him to do this. He's already agreed. Good plan, he says. I'll do the same. We start toward the stairs together, then hesitate when it's obvious we won't both fit down the stairwell next to each other. He laughs. You go. No, it's ladies first. I laugh and walk forward, my skin prickling as his hand brushes my arm. The sensation climbs to the crown of my head. My goodness, get a grip. A guy accidentally touches you and you're blooming like bioluminescent algae? At the bottom, I glance back. 30 minutes? He nods. See you then. Chapter 5. Back in the room, Gianna's still completely passed out. My guess is her alarm is set to go off at 7:30, right as I'll be leaving. I wedge myself into the shower sideways. Despite the close quarters, the water runs hot enough to boil a crab. I revel in it. Even though this is not a luxurious shampoo commercial shower, this is a rinse off and rejoin society shower. I rinse my face and scrub my skin with the provided body wash, then hop out and dry off. I start weighing the pros and cons of different outfits, then stop myself short. There's no need to overthink this. This doesn't need to become a whole thing. I'm on a boat trying to win a bet on whether I can cut off a fling, not taking applications for a husband. I wrap my hair in a towel and look at myself in the mirror, hunting for my skincare in my travel toiletry bag. The problem is not Noah. The problem is that my brain loves an administrative task. Give it one attractive man and the chance to eradicate loneliness for a few days, and suddenly it's hauling out clipboards and color-coded tabs. Do we have chemistry? Are we compatible? What does he mean when he smiles like that? Holy crap. That's exactly what I do when I'm dating someone. I second-guess everything. Make excuses and reason myself out of what is totally obvious. The relationship isn't working. This is a fling. I don't need to get to know him. I don't need his childhood dog's name. I don't need his relationship history. I don't need to know what he wanted to be when he was 10, unless the answer is serial killer, in which case, maybe important information. I dot on concealer and blend it in with my ring finger. Mascara next. Tinted moisturizer, a little cream blush, lip balm. I told Noah we would theoretically need rules in a situation like this, and that's exactly what comes next. No more beating around the bush or awkward conversations on the top deck. Just call it what it is. I don't bother putting on clothes before stepping out into the room since Gianna's still asleep. I find my underwear in the top drawer and pull on my sundress, soft blue with tiny white flowers, the one that survives being rolled into a suitcase and still looks like it was recently ironed. Then I open the little jewelry case. My grandma's diamond studs sit in the corner, small and perfect. She wore them every day of my life. Church, grocery store, even gardening or sitting at the kitchen table in her nightdress. When I turned 21, she took them out, pressed them into my hand, and told me a woman should own at least one beautiful thing she didn't have to pay for. I was with Ben at the time, so I guess she saw right through everything and knew he wasn't buying me Valentine's presents. The first earring goes in easily, but the back of the second one keeps slipping. Probably too much lotion on my hands. On the fourth try, it slides on. I exhale, straighten, and slip on my sandals. There. Presentable, not overthinking, or at least overthinking in a cute dress and earrings. Gianna's alarm blasts from the other side of the room just as I grab my bag. Perfect timing. I slip out the door while she groans into consciousness, then head down the corridor toward the restaurant. All of the baby boomers are up now, filling their bowls with prunes and muesli. I choose fruit, a made-to-order omelet, and a chocolate croissant, then scan the room. Noah's planted near the windows, sipping a cup of coffee. He spots me, and his whole face lifts. There's something so immediate and unfiltered about it that my brain briefly forgets every sensible conclusion I came to in my carry-on-sized bathroom. He stands as I approach. Not halfway. Fully. Hey. He steps forward like he's going to greet me with a hug, then stops himself and pats the pockets of his slacks like he's feeling for car keys. Hey. I set my plate down across from him and sit. He lowers back into his chair. Good shower? He grimaces. Sorry, weird question. He's bouncing his knee under the table. Wait, is he nervous? No, not weird. It was a good shower. You? Yeah, it's a little short. I have to crouch to get my head under the water. Okay, humble brag. Noah grins. His smile truly is like liquid gold. Light reflecting off a mirror, or the evening sun in springtime Colorado, glaring straight through your windshield as you drive west until you're half blind. I'm like a bird that hit a sliding glass door, momentarily stunned. Someone nudges the back of my chair as they pass through to their table, and it snaps me out of it. I take a bite of fruit to buy myself half a second. So, I say finally, mustering my courage, we should probably talk logistics. His fork pauses halfway to his mouth. For? This? I gesture between the two of us. Our fling? For the bet? He nods as his fork resumes motion and deposits scrambled eggs into his mouth. Right. I was thinking about this in the shower. What does it mean to have a fling? It could be short, couldn't it? And I don't think we actually have to have sex. Noah coughs, choking on his eggs. Are you okay? He reaches for his coffee and takes a sip, then coughs a few more times before dragging in a full breath. Fine. You sure? He swallows another gulp of coffee. When he doesn't say anything else, I continue. A fling is supposed to be exciting. No emotional attachment, just, fun. He steeples his fingers together, his arms resting on the table. Got it. Fun. No sex. I laugh. Is that sarcasm? His eyes widen. No, I'm serious, just recapping. I give him a skeptical look. Is that why he signed on for this? Because he thought we'd be having sex? Is that a disappointment? I look at his ears, and sure enough, the tips are blushing. It's adorable. What? He asks, and I realize I must have spoken out loud. Oh, nothing. The tips of your ears, they turn pink when you're nervous. Or embarrassed, I guess. I look down, hunting for another piece of pineapple. My heart races like I just ran up a flight of stairs. Really? Noah lifts a hand to his ears. And you think that's adorable? I shrug. Kind of. It is or it isn't. His brows furrowed. For someone who seems so fun-loving, this conversation has been all serious. I want to tease, to make him laugh, but instead I school my expression. A man with blushing ears that are outside of his control deserves the truth. It is. He exhales and picks his fork back up. Thanks. The way he says it, so sincere, makes me feel like I'm staring at a kitten. Before I can internally, "Aww," any longer, Noah's demeanor shifts and he's grinning again. So what do you want to do for fun, Macy? I take a bite of my croissant and chew, thinking, I don't know, maybe we do all the romantic things, Noah says. Not at all what I was about to say, but I hide my surprise behind an excited, oh, sure. No, he looks up. I just thought we're in these romantic places. There's a fortress in Šibenik with a ridiculous sunset view. Hvar has all these little coves people put out to, and V's has that glowing blue cave. V's, isn't that day 9? We don't have to take this that far. He rubs the back of his neck and chuckles. Right, just giving examples. I didn't search them up specifically or anything. I just noticed when I was looking at the itinerary. He pauses again, his leg starting to bounce. I figured if we were doing this, we should make it count. Did Gianna or Addie put you up to this? I lean in, searching his face for tells. They would. Talk to him and put ideas in his head, try to make him seem so lovable and sweet that I couldn't bear to break things off. He shakes his head, looking honestly confused. What? No. I think back to what he said when we stood in line together, how he'd like to have someone to hang out with since Josh would be busy most of the time. You can hang out with us whenever. Even after I win the bet, you're more than welcome to join our group on any of the stops. Noah considers this. I might take you up on that. I want to ask him 100 questions, none of which are socially appropriate. I can't get Gianna's prediction of some big family secret out of my head. So, we do all the romantic things, maybe 4 days at most? That seems reasonable. Plenty of time to be with someone and break it off without ruining the rest of our trip. If it were a real fling, it would be awkward, but since we both know what this is, I don't see it causing any problems. Sure, sounds great. And like I said, no sex necessary, but we should probably hold hands and kiss. At least a little, otherwise... I give a nervous laugh. Otherwise, my friends will think it's a cop-out, but we could do it at the very end. I wince at the delivery. Not once have I talked to someone about kissing them before actually kissing them. Pretty sure we never talk about it after either. Was this something people did? Sorry, this is awkward. He shakes his head. No, it's refreshing. I wish real dating worked like this. It wouldn't be so stressful. You find dating stressful? I give him a skeptical look. A guy like him with a smile like that and a medical degree? Women had to be falling all over him on a daily basis. Noah wets his lips. They're full and plump, and I think he might have a tiny scar on the right side of his mouth. The skin pulls a little differently there. You have no idea, he says. And before I can ask for more information on that, someone calls my name. I spin and see Addie, Gianna, Laura, and Chris walking toward us with their plates. The girls have arrived. Rovine is even more charming up close. Narrow cobblestone streets that wind upward like they're straight out of a fairy tale, and laundry strung between windows. Little flags of sustainable living. The air smells fresh, and we keep getting wafts of something fried that I'm dying to try. Addie takes at least 12 photos in the first 5 minutes, and Laura reads every plaque out loud, even though we have a guide narrating our walk through the headphones plugged into our Dreamboat-provided quiet box receivers. This is insane. Addie sets up a shot down a particularly charming alley. No place should be this photogenic. It's centuries old, Gianna murmurs. This place earned every compliment. Noah walks with us, but not with us. He's a few steps behind, sidetracked regularly by his septuagenarian fan club. Every now and then I catch him looking at me. Or did I look first? I can't tell. But every time he's within arm's reach, I wonder if I should make the first move. Take his hand? And then, as we turn a corner and the street opens up, I do it. He walks closer, pausing as the woman in front of him shuffles ahead, and he's right there. I reach out and brush my knuckles to his, letting them linger so he knows it's not an accident. A rush of heat flashes up my arm, and I'm about to chicken out and pull back when he takes the bait. He wraps his fingers around mine, and our eyes meet. He looks a little like he just barely missed hitting a pedestrian with his car. Based on the way my heart is hammering, I doubt my expression is any less shell-shocked. Addie nudges me. Come on, what are you... She notices my arm is moving with Noah's and gasps. Oh, I mean, right, She spins around and nearly runs into Laura. I pull, dragging Noah forward so I don't have to see them tittering like songbirds when the memo gets passed through all four of them. Noah and I are holding hands. It makes me painfully aware that even though I just barely got out of a relationship, I don't remember the last time I did this. His hand envelops mine and his palm is warm. It has the feel of a hand that's been used, not perched over a keyboard all day. My skin isn't sweaty, thankfully, though the temperature is rising by the second. My face already feels dewy, despite my spaghetti-strap dress and sandals. We work together to walk at the right pace so nobody's arm is at an awkward angle, and by the time we reach the top of the street, my heart rate lowers from full-on sprint to mild Pilates workout. I glance over my shoulder to see where my friends are, and as I do, something small drops onto my shoulder. I turn back in time to see a flash of metal, a glitter of light, before something small and delicate hits the cobblestones and bounces, then drops through the narrow gap of a drainage grate set into the street. My stomach drops, and my hand flies to my right ear. My grandmother's diamond stud, the one I struggled to put on this morning, gone. Chapter 6. My earring drops through the drainage grate without even a final plink. Vanished. Swallowed by a centuries-old street with a sewer system that leads heaven knows where. For a moment, the whole world seems to stop. Then I make a strangled sound as I pull my hand from Noah's and cover my mouth to slow the string of expletives that are racing to get out. Noah's eyes swing from the grate to my empty earlobe. Macy? Addie rushes through the group like a bloodhound who's caught a scent. What happened? My earring. I stare at the narrow metal grate embedded between the stones. It's just... I point like I'm tattling on a schoolyard bully. Laura leans in and grimaces. It fell in there? Yes, Laura, into the very obvious hole in the ground. Where else would it... I draw a deep breath. Hard, since I'm starting to hyperventilate. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. It was my grandmother's... A hand lands on my shoulder and squeezes. Hey, it's okay. We'll get it. It's Noah. He's pulling out his headphones and taking off his QuietVox lanyard and handing it to me. Gianna crouches next to the grate, squinting into the dark slit. Can you see it? Ah. A warm, accented voice cuts through the murmurs of our group. Problem, yes? We all turn. Our local guide, Matteo, who has been effortlessly charming and historically informative for the past 40 minutes, steps forward with his hands clasped behind his back like this is just another Tuesday. My friend's earring dropped in there. Chris gestures to the grate. Matteo peers down, crouching. This happens. Many things go down. Comforting, Gianna mutters. Matteo studies the gap, then glances at me. Important, yes? I nod. Very. He hums as he stands, scanning the street. There is access. He points down the alley across the street. Maintenance entrance, very small, but show me. Noah stands with his hands on his hips, his jaw set. No way, I say. You're not going into the sewer for... 1 second. Matteo runs across the street and strikes up a conversation with a man sweeping off the step of his storefront. He nods and sets the broom against the doorframe, then looks across the street at our group. Matteo nods and motions with his arm. Noah looks both ways and crosses. Noah, stop. It's not. He spins, and I nearly run into him. That earring is important to you. Yes, but it's also teeny tiny and probably floating toward the Adriatic by now. He nods once. If Mateo says there's access, then I'll get in there and confirm it's gone. Shouldn't take too long. I grab his arm. It's a sewer, Noah. Trust me, I see more disgusting things than that at work every day. He lifts my hand off of him and pats my head, then jogs over to Mateo. Did he just... I growl under my breath and run after him. Standing above the sewer access hole, I learn 3 things in rapid succession. 1, I love my friends. They all skipped out on the rest of the walking tour and came with us. 2, even though I can't understand what the people here are saying to each other, there's such a sense of kindness and hospitality. I'm getting a little choked up. And 3, number 3. I don't think I've ever been as attracted to a man as I am right now to Noah. He jokes with the shop owner Mateo found, even though the man barely speaks English, then strips off his button-up shirt and hands it to him. I'm guessing this is because it's white and everything down that hole is the opposite, but I can't think too hard about it because there's so much happening at once. The man's pointing along the street, telling Noah which way to walk. I'm trying not to stare at his naked torso, even though I desperately want to. All while my nervous system is overloading because I'm imagining Noah walking by himself down a rat-infested sewer looking for a piece of jewelry less than the size of a dime. I rush forward. Noah, you really don't have to do this. He turns, that midday smile on his face. It'll only take a few minutes to walk down there. They haven't had much rain, so... I still have one. I lift my hand to my ear. I'll just get a second piercing or something. You could get a disease or... Noah lifts his hand, and his knuckles graze my cheek as he holds the lobe of my ear between his thumb and forefinger. His eyes narrow as he inspects the remaining stud, and I swear he can hear the heavy thump of my heart as it crashes against my ribs like a battering ram. I wobble a little as he drops his hand, steps back, and grabs the top handles of the metal ladder the shop owner pulled up a few minutes ago. He flicks his hair out of his eyes, then clicks on the flashlight they scrounged from one of the surrounding houses. Be right back. Holy hell! I jump at the sound of Addie's voice. That is the hottest thing I've ever seen. I cross my arms over my chest like I can somehow hide how fast I'm breathing. I guess. She snorts. I guess? You look like... Shh! I hiss. Noah's head is still barely visible in his descent, and I don't want him to hear a word of this. The ladder clangs, and there's a small splash. Are you okay? I shout into the hole. I can see his light, but I'm not sure if it's still attached to his hand until it swings up and blinds me. Yep, all good. I nod, blinking. Be careful! Yep. I'm serious, Noah. If it's not there... Yep. And then he's gone. Guilt curls low in my stomach. I straighten, squeezing my eyes shut. He's going to get tetanus or hep C. He's going to get his feet eaten off by rats. Didn't I see that in a movie once? They ate the soles of someone's feet while they were sleeping? Hey. Chris throws an arm over my shoulders. Hey? I can't keep the grimace off my face. She smirks. So far, your fling boyfriend is a hell of a lot better than your real one. This makes me laugh. She isn't wrong. The idea of Ben climbing into a sewer in a foreign country for anything less than $10,000 was a joke. Probably 20. I reach into my purse and pull out my phone. When did he go down? How long has it been? Laura holds up her cell and shows me a timer. He's been down for 32 seconds. Wow, okay. Thought it had been longer than that. I spin and pace away from the hole in the street, then come right back and stare down. Not sure what I'm hoping for. Noah has to be down the street by now. I try to calculate the distance, then the time needed for each step, and therefore how far along the path he'd be toward the grate on the street over. A woman sitting across the street catches my eye. She sits on a low stool outside her front door, shelling something into a metal bowl. Mushkartsi, she says, shaking her head. Uve kako se kaze. She flicks her wrist. I glance at Gianna to see if she has any clue what the woman is saying. Nestanu. Poof, the woman says, tossing a shell dramatically to the side. Ode, nemaga. The shopkeeper looks at me, then back at her, then translates the best he can. She say you wait for man, he vanish. Gianna snorts. That's the truth. The first woman nods, pleased with herself. Uviek taco. Then she clicks her tongue and looks at me. Jako zgodan. I blink. What? The shopkeeper grins. She say, man, very handsome. This gets a laugh out of all of us, just as a second woman in wide-legged slacks and a loose blouse steps out of the doorway. She turns to the first woman and launches into rapid Croatian. The first woman laughs, covering her mouth. What are they saying? I ask. The shopkeeper chuckles. She say, he works to find the words. If handsome man go down for girl, that very good man. Maybe, stupid? A little? He holds up his fingers to show a small pinch. Chris nearly chokes. A handsome man going down for a girl is a very good man. I smack her, and we devolve into giggles. The women laugh with us, then the second woman asks, Je li ti dečko? I wait for the translation. Boyfriend? I clear my throat and shake my head. A friend. We just met. The shopkeeper repeats this, though I'm gathering that they all understand English far better than they speak it. The second woman says something with a glint in her eye. I catch the words nachin and glida. The shopkeeper fights a grin. She say, he look at you not only friend. My stomach swoops as an unfamiliar feeling washes over me. I want to tell him he's my boyfriend. Noah just stripped in the middle of Rovine and dropped into a sewer. No questions asked. I've spent a surprising amount of my life softening introductions for my significant others, preemptively managing expectations. He's great. He's just kind of an introvert. He's had a long week at work. No matter where we go, there's always a small disclaimer tucked in, buffering the impact of their poor behavior. I've never stood next to someone and simply felt proud. The first woman nudges the second, saying something quick, both of them now looking past us and pointing. The shopkeeper claps his hands. He come up. I spin so fast I'm dizzy for a second. But there he is, Noah, climbing up from the street, his face sweaty, hands dirty, and still wearing that magnetic grin. The first woman claps once, triumphant. Vidish! Gianna exhales. Unbelievable. I don't say a word, because my chest just expanded in a way that feels dangerous for a 3 to 4 day planned fling. And as Noah straightens, brushing his hands off and looking directly at me, I don't think friend is going to cover it. Noah exhales, dropping his shoulders as his chest and stomach flex. He's got a great physique. Not overly built, but strong and healthy. He has dark hair on his chest and a little on his stomach. I search for something to say. I was seconds away from going in after you. Noah raises an eyebrow, noting the distance between me and the sewer opening with his eyes. A smile curls the corners of my mouth as he turns to the shopkeeper. I can't hear what he says, but the man takes Noah across the street to talk to the women. Their faces light up. And I may not understand the words, but I understand their intentions perfectly. They are straight up flirting with him. The second woman rushes inside and a few seconds later returns with another bowl. She holds it out, and Noah dips his hands in, washing up to his elbows in soapy water. The woman takes the bowl, disappears inside, then returns with a clean towel for him to dry off. When he's finished, the shopkeeper holds out his shirt so Noah can slip his arms into the sleeves. He doesn't button it up before turning and walking back toward us. You okay? He asks when he gets close. I laugh. I'm not the one who just spelunked for jewelry. When I say it, I remember the whole reason he dropped under the street. Did you? Come here. His eyes twinkle, and my heart flips. Noah, come here. I purse my lips and walk toward him. Is he messing with me? He holds out his palm, and my breath catches. Noah opens his hand. There it is. My earring. How did you? It was on a little ledge, right under the grate. It's not very tall in there. I had to crouch, so it was easy to see as soon as the light hit it. Noah reaches out and places it in my hand. I washed it with the soap. Should be clean. My fingers close around it as my vision blurs. I laugh, trying to hide that I'm close to tears, but it only makes it worse. I look up at his face, that smile, and I don't know what comes over me, but I lurch forward. I wrap my free hand around the back of his neck and yank him down, planting my lips on his. The kiss is relief and gratitude tangled up with the insane attraction I feel at watching a man do something so unselfish for me. Sometimes the timing of kissing for a planned fling is cut and dry, and sometimes a man climbs into a sewer for you and finds your dead grandmother's earring. His hands come up instinctively, catching me at my waist as he makes this surprised, muffled sound before relaxing and kissing me back. Chapter 7. My hand is still on his neck when my brain catches up. I'm kissing Noah in the middle of an alley with his shirt undone in front of not only my best friends, but the Rovine locals to whom I just heartily denied any romantic attachment. I pull back barely enough to breathe. Noah doesn't move. He's still gripping my waist and his eyes are on mine. They're wide in a way that doesn't read alarmed so much as stunned. Well, I lower from standing on my tiptoes to planting my feet flat on the cobblestones. Thank you for that. Noah's breathing is staggered. You're welcome. I drop my hand and Noah straightens. It takes me a second to orient myself, but as soon as I turn and see my 4 best friends staring at me, mouths gaping, I remember the earring curled in my hand. I ignore their silent pleas for an explanation and fumble with my purse, unzipping the small inner pocket and sliding the earring inside. Secure and safe until I can find a new back. Then I look over my shoulder, which is a total mistake. Noah's still standing there, watching me. I whip my head back around and nearly trip on a cobblestone. Addie lowers her voice as I approach. I take it all back. Take what back? I whisper. That was the hottest thing I've ever seen. I roll my eyes as the shopkeeper drops the sewer ladder and slides the manhole cover back in place. He whistles and motions for us to follow him. I have no idea where he's taking us, but it's better than standing here and dealing with my life choices. It's just the 5 of us plus Noah walking behind our volunteer guide, so my friends mercifully ignore the last couple of minutes and instead dive into questions for Noah about being in a sewer. Scale of 1 to 10, Gianna says. How creepy was it? Energetically or structurally? Noah asks. Gianna's face lights up and she gives a surprised laugh. Both. Structurally like a 4, he says. There was less trash than I expected and no dead bodies. But energetically, a 7. Were you scared? Addie asks. He shakes his head. I'm good in a crisis. It's regular life that's scarier. Good in a crisis. Why wasn't that listed as an option on every online dating profile? I watch him out of the corner of my eye. He's so matter-of-fact, open. Are you sure you're not European? I ask, and Noah's mouth curls. Because of my style? He points at his boat shoes, and I snort. Because you actually talk, Gianna says, then stops dead on the street, her eyes flying wide. Wait. She leans in and lowers her voice. Are you gay? Noah laughs out loud, a full-throated belly laugh. When he recovers, he repeats, because of my style? Not gay, Addie states. I have a feel for these things. You have experience, you mean? Laura teases, and Addie scoffs. She did, in fact, date a guy who broke up with her because he was gay. To her credit, I'm fairly sure she knew that from the get-go. She needed a shopping buddy since the rest of us were buried in textbooks, studying for finals, and he wanted someone of the female persuasion to go to dinner with his unwitting family when they visited from Atlanta. Win-win. Not gay, Noah confirms, but thank you for the compliment. Gianna smiles at him, and something in me twinges. Not that I'm worried or anything, but that was a little flirty, which is totally fine since I have no claim on Noah, at least after I win this bet. Our shopkeeper friend leads us over the hill and into a square where we see a beautiful church, along with Mateo and the rest of our group. Mateo jumps up and down when he sees us and runs over, holding the mic on his headset so it doesn't bounce. Did you find? He asks Noah, a giddy expression on his face. Noah nods with a grin. I find. We finish the rest of the walking tour, and part of me hopes Noah will walk closer. Maybe grab my hand like I grabbed his earlier. But he doesn't. I'm too nervous to do anything after my display in the alley, so I pretend I haven't thought twice about any of it. I'm thinking about that kiss every second. The way his hands felt on my waist, the softness of his lips, the smell of his sun-warmed skin laced with the smell of apple soap from the lady shop owners. When the tour ends, we split off into smaller groups to explore the area before we have to go back to the boat. I feel a pang of disappointment as Noah waves and heads off on his own. Mostly because as soon as he's out of earshot, the floodgates open. We talk about that kiss. We talk about it with the incredible view from the Church of St. Euphemia, the rooftops spilling out in uneven waves of terracotta, the sea stretching beyond that. The kiss gets replayed from every angle as we sit on a low stone wall sharing warm burek from a crinkled paper bag. The pastry is flaky and hot, and the grease coats our fingers. By the time we wind back down through the narrow streets, the light is soft. The stone underfoot still holds on to the day's heat, and the air smells like garlic and olive oil and something sweet drifting from open doorways. We find a small restaurant tucked between buildings, shaded and cool, and order the truffle pasta Addie looked up online and insisted was an absolute must. It's beyond divine. By the time we reach the harbor again, the sun is dropping, and everything turns to gold. Boats rock on the gentle waves, creating a lulling backdrop for the locals and tourists wandering along the water. They linger, sit and watch the ocean, hold each other, laugh. We buy gelato and walk, and I can't help thinking about Noah's list. Was this one of the romantic things he came across in his search? As my friends laugh and chat around me, I imagine walking with a lover here, how it would feel to be with someone and have it be this peaceful. Not worrying about whether my boyfriend's having a good time or if he's only there because I forced him to be, or if he likes the gelato or if he's mad that it was too expensive. What do I want? Thinking about that feels dangerous, precarious, and a dreadful thought lodges itself in my head. Do I take care of others' needs because I don't know how to take care of my own? Am I too afraid to want things that I don't believe I'll ever get? Hey, Addie nudges me. Look who it is. We've walked far enough that the harbor curves toward the docks, the cruise ship looming ahead, a little out of place against the old-world feel of Rovine. Noah sits on a bench near the water, removed from the flow of people heading back to the boat, elbows on his knees, gaze fixed on the horizon. I'll catch up in a second, I say, and slow. The girls keep walking, their voices carrying ahead of me. I pause a moment, but don't want him to turn and catch me staring, so I cross the stretch of wide stones and drop onto the bench beside him. It's small enough that our shoulders almost touch. Hey! He glances over with only a flicker of a smile, like the light bulb isn't fully screwed in. Hey. So, I say, leaning back against the bench, word on the street is you had a very successful sewer expedition. He chuckles. Really found myself down there. Good. I was worried you'd come back unchanged. I'm a new man now. Phew. The old one was really a dud. That gets a real smile out of him, and warmth blooms in my chest. He points to the water. There was a pod of dolphins out there. Really? I perk up, eyes searching. Right there. He points just past the last boats on one of the docks, but I haven't seen them pop up for a minute. Huh. We watch in silence, both of us scouring the glittering waves, and then a curved fin finally breaks the surface. I gasp and point. 3 more pop up and roll back into the water. I laugh. I've never seen them in real life. Me either. Huh! I turn to him. That's romantic, right? Both of us experiencing a first together. Noah opens his mouth, then closes it. The tips of his ears turn pink. Sorry, was that... I was just thinking about your list, how you wanted to... No, I know. It's not you. He rubs his hands on his thighs. You okay? I ask. Yeah, he says. Yeah, I'm good. I tilt my head, studying him. You sure? He smiles again, a little more real this time. I'm trying to be chill. Trying to be chill? I can't help but grin. What is it about him that's so cute? Is it that little pucker at the edge of his mouth, his long lashes as he drops his eyes? Sometimes it's hard. I suddenly get an image of my friend Tyler from elementary school. This is exactly the expression he made when he played a wrong note on his violin in orchestra class, even though he was leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of us. Oh, holy crap. You don't know how hot you are. What? I turn on the bench. That's what this is. You act like a guy who's short and a little chubby, who's bouncing from job to job, so he's nervous that girls won't think he has a lot to offer. I grab onto his arm. No, you act like the best friend. You think you're the wingman, the comic relief. I shift and clear my throat. Noah, I have something really important to tell you. Noah watches me with a dumbfounded expression. He doesn't say anything, so I continue on. You're over 6 feet tall. You're handsome and obviously athletic. You have great style minus those shoes, and you're a doctor. You're not the best friend. You're the main character. Do you see how people react to you everywhere you go? I point back to the ship. You have groupies. You don't even have to try and be chill. You don't have to be anything. He meets my eyes, and my pulse ticks up. I'm still gripping his bicep, but I don't know how to get out of it gracefully. Noah's jaw ticks, then relaxes. He starts to say something and stops, then tries again. He blows out a breath. This is really embarrassing. I purse my lips and glance at his ears. I noticed. What could he possibly be trying to say that needs this much build-up? He huffs a laugh, and his knee nudges mine. My body flares at the touch. A breeze rolls in off the water, lifting the edge of my dress, but it does nothing to cool my skin. I am the best friend. His brow pinches. I've always been the best friend. As soon as he says this, whatever dam he built inside of him bursts, and his words come tumbling out. I didn't grow until college, so my entire life I was the short, chubby kid who was friends with all the girls because I wasn't athletic enough for the guys to want me around, but I wasn't someone the girls were interested in either. Then I was so focused on getting into medical school, my course load was heavy, plus I needed to volunteer and get a part-time job, then barely had time for anything other than study and sleep once I got in. To medical school? He nods and draws a deep breath. How is any of that embarrassing? I search his face, trying to understand. To me, everything he just said makes him more impressive, not less. No wonder he fits in with our girl group and is not the least bit cocky. Noah gestures to the ocean. Seeing dolphins wasn't my only first today. I pretend to be shocked. You mean you regularly go sewer diving? He doesn't laugh, and my smile slips an inch. When I gave you the earring and you... He runs a hand through his hair. That was my first kiss, Macy. My first real one, anyway. I pull my arm back and nearly choke on my spit. What? Never in a million years did I think that was going to come out of his mouth. See? Embarrassing. How? What? How is that even possible? My head spins, and I don't let him get a word in before saying, I'm so sorry. Had I known, I never would have done that. I drop my head into my hands. His first kiss? The last day and a half repeats in my head with dizzying clarity. How Josh volunteered his brother for the bet, how Noah actually took me up on it, how he wanted to check romantic things off his list. This was the big family secret. I'm a terrible person. The absolute worst. I took this man's first kiss to win a stupid bet. Macy, I'm just going to... I hop up from the bench and spin away from him, tripping over the metal leg. I let out an oof, then turn back and say, not embarrassing, for the record, totally understandable. I'm so sorry, and... I can't finish the sentence because I have no idea what comes next. So I turn and speed walk back in the direction of the boat. Macy, Noah calls after me, but I'm in full panic mode. This was such a stupid idea. I took Noah's lip virginity without consent, I might add. Though he did agree to hand-holding and a kiss at the end of our fling arrangement, but still, a first kiss wasn't supposed to be fake. It was supposed to be butterfly-filled and foot-popping and... Macy, stop. Noah's voice is close, and I'm slowing because there are spots in my vision and my lungs refuse to fill with air. Was that kiss fake? I think back to the rush of emotion, the heat coursing through me as those women fawned over him and washed his hands and arms in that stupid soapy water. The way my pulse kicked as he walked toward me with his shirt open and that damn near perfect smile on his face. Noah grabs my arm, and I double over, sucking air. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, he says. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm not mad about... You should be mad, I gasp. That was your first kiss. I straighten, my eyes flashing, my face on fire, and suddenly notice how close we are to the gangplank. And then I see my friends, standing under the little white tent where the staff is waiting with rolled up moist towels and cocktails. They blink at us, like a family of raccoons caught red-handed in the garbage bins. And then Joshua steps forward, a smile that rivals his brother's on his face. Bro, you kissed her? Chapter 8. Josh fills us in on all the details. When I say we, I mean Addie, Laura, Gianna, and Chris because I bolt to my room after the scene Noah and I make in front of the ship and then get the skinny before dinner. Noah has never had a girlfriend. Ever. Not in a nothing serious way, not in a, well, there was this one girl in college way. Never ever. And I've been out here treating this whole thing like a hilarious joke when it is Noah's romance origin story. I don't know why this freaks me out so much, but the whole situation has me sweating bullets. Noah's 26 and I'm 28. Fine. Not the worst age gap in the world. Does it make me a little self-conscious knowing he's accomplished twice what I have so far in life with 2 less years? Definitely. Well, unless you count the number of intimate partners, in which case I'm crushing it. But being someone's first? For a bet? The idea makes me queasy. I hit the bottom of the stairs and pause outside the dining room entrance, palm flattened against the wall. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, I can do this. Easy. I just need to tell my friends that, considering the new information we've all received, the friend bet is off. It has to be. I can't have a fake fling with Noah under these circumstances, and I'm sure all of them will agree that there really aren't any other options. I walk through the glass doors and groan internally when I see Noah already sitting at the table with Gianna and Addie. I hoped I'd get to chat with them alone before Chris and Laura showed up, but no dice. I yank on the hem of my cocktail dress because it keeps working up my thighs. Probably the higher humidity. It's making everything sticky. I plaster on a smile and pretend not to notice how everyone looks up as I approach and drop into my chair. Good evening, I say like a posh butler. All I needed to add was a Madame et Monsieur for full dorky effect. Hello, Macy. Noah says both words as 2 separate sentences, then opens his napkin and sets it in his lap. Perfect. He has refined manners too. So, Addie starts, toying with her fork on the table. This is going to be torture. Bet's off, I blurt, ripping off the Band-Aid. Gianna looks scandalized. That's not a thing. It's totally a thing. I load up with examples from college, like when Laura bet Chris she couldn't send a flirty text to the guy she had a crush on, and then we found out his mom died the night before. We sure as hell canceled that bet. Unfortunately, I don't get to use my ammo because Noah says, Was it a bad kiss? My eyes flare. What? No. Well, you seemed pretty upset. After you told me, it wasn't the kiss, it was that I didn't know what I was doing. I drop my hands on the table. No, it wasn't a bad kiss. It was probably the best kiss I've ever had. I snap my mouth closed. I did not mean to say that out loud, even though it's definitely true. Was it because I instigated? Because I didn't think? Or was it because I felt him respond? Felt his body curve into mine and his lips soften? How was it that good when he'd never done it before? Gianna and Addie watch me with smug grins. The bet's off. If Noah can make individual words their own sentences, so can I. Addie picks up her water glass. It doesn't sound like it's off. I motion to Noah for some moral support, but he doesn't jump in. We can't do this. And seeing as there's no other man on the ship under the age of 50... Wait, I don't get it. Why can't you do the fling with him? Addie asks. Because he deserves better than that. Gianna lifts a brow. According to whom? According to my conscience. Noah deserves to have a first kiss. Second. Noah cuts in. My cheeks flush. Thank you. See, I've already ruined that for him. I smooth my napkin on my lap. He deserves to do all the romantic things on this trip with someone who wants to be with him. You don't want to be with me? He asks so innocently I can't tell if he's joking. I shake my head. That's not what I said. Addie leans in. Well, he didn't say he wants you to marry him. He's never had a girlfriend. So what? Doesn't that make this more perfect? You're practicing standing up for yourself. Case in point. I hold out my arms for effect, but she ignores me. And he's practicing dating. Doesn't that benefit you both? I start a rebuttal, but her logic makes a frustrating amount of sense. He's not fragile Victorian glassware, Mace. She puts up a hand to her mouth and shout whispers, He's a man. Gianna laughs. Also, he's sitting right here. Shouldn't Noah get to speak for himself? I chew my lower lip. I don't want to hear what Noah has to say right now because he's the only one at this table who knew his own life story before taking the bet. Noah chose to do this, and maybe that's what scares me more than anything else. He doesn't have the experiences that I do. He doesn't know how easy it is to get attached to someone when it feels good, how easy it is to get confused and addicted to not existing alone, the physical touch, the comfort of having a companion, and if that happens, my throat thickens at the thought. Well, he also doesn't know how impossible it will be for me to break this off if I see that he's into this for real. Is that what this is? Me protecting myself again? Taking the easy path so I don't have to hurt anyone's feelings? Or is it possible that after watching him climb out of that sewer with my grandmother's earring, I'm already starting to feel things for Noah that I don't want to admit? Noah looks at me for a moment, and I wonder if he's going to let me off the hook. Then he says, I don't know how I waited this long to kiss someone, and I want to do it again. I'm still in. Well, damn it. Not in a million years. Chapter 9. After eating as fast as humanly possible, retiring to my room early and getting a mid-night of sleep, Zadar rises in front of me as we all exit the ship. Pale stone walls catch the first wash of morning light, and it looks like the city is being unwrapped piece by piece. Terracotta roofs stacked in uneven layers, sun-warmed reds and oranges juxtaposed with the shifting shade of the water from deep navy to glassy blue-green near the edge of the harbor. Somewhere, bells start ringing, and it feels like the whole picture is just for us. Noah appears beside Gianna on the gangway. Morning. He looks like he just got the best 10-hour sleep of his life, which feels inconsiderate since I was tossing and turning until at least 1. He falls into step beside me as our little group walks to our meeting point, waiting for our walking guide to start toward the old town. I brought a bracelet with a loose clasp today, I say, flicking my eyes up to his. He doesn't miss a beat. Perfect. I was really hoping to compare drainage systems. Noah points at his shirt. Dark blue instead of white. I laugh. I can't believe you did that. Wore white after Labor Day? I know. By the time we start off on our tour, my grin is wide enough to land on a Sensodyne commercial. The streets narrow as we go, opening and folding back on themselves, creating 100 secret passageways I'm dying to explore. Noah takes my hand as we cross a square with cafe chairs spilling out toward a central fountain, and it sends the same zing through my body. Addie gives me a wink, and I become fascinated with what our guide is telling us about Venetian gates. Our guide gives us some time to drift through a market square bright with fruit and flowers, then down a lane lined with shops, and it turns into 20 questions with Noah. Where did you grow up? Addie asks. Maryland, he says, just outside D.C. Chris perks up immediately. What, like Bethesda adjacent? They launch into a discussion that means nothing to me about neighborhoods and boroughs, but then Noah asks about her work, and it's like he pressed a go button. Chris jumps into the drama. How the chief of staff for the congressman she's campaigning for got caught redirecting donor funds. Noah's brows lift. You work for Congressman Hale? Chris nods as he pauses near a stand with dozens of honey jars, glinting amber in the morning sun. Here I was worried that having Noah around would make it difficult to have real conversations with my friends. Turns out, he's making it easier. Was Hale involved? Gianna asks. No, she says. Then a fraction less certain. Not directly. She picks up one of the honey jars, turning it in her hands without reading the label. He didn't ask enough questions, or he asked and didn't push when the answers didn't add up. So now you're cleaning it up? I ask. Chris sighs, setting the jar down. We're reframing it, trying to remind people that negligence isn't the same as corruption. Voters don't love nuance. What? Noah swings our connected arms. I thought we were known for our deep, critical thinking regarding politics. Chris snorts. Please, bring back the soapboxes and community square debates. We walk on, and Addie asks Noah about Josh. We find out Josh is only 3 years older than Noah, but he left the house at 17 to do that study abroad in Germany and only came back home for graduation before he was off again. He went into hospitality and has worked for hotels and cruise lines ever since. Wait, attending university in Germany is free? Addie asks. Noah nods. Yep, you just have to speak German. Josh was just telling me, though, they're doing more classes in English now. So you two are close, Gianna says. There's the slightest hesitation before Noah says, Yep. Where did you go to school? Chris asks, and I'm a little disappointed she didn't wait a moment longer. There's something there between Noah and Josh, and I want to know what it is. University of Colorado for undergrad and medical school, Noah answers, and my friends devolve into delighted, surprised chatter. What? No way, we were at the same school? We talk about favorite restaurants and events, trying to decide if we ever overlapped, even though he's a couple of years younger than us. We collectively decide that Noah must have run with Laura and Gianna in the Boulder the year before he moved to Aurora for medical school. I was there, cheering them on. How many times had Noah and I crossed paths back then and never known it? By the time we get back to our guide, we've covered childhood sports. Noah wasn't great at them because he was overweight, and favorite foods. We heavily debate whether a good bowl of oatmeal in the morning counts as a favorite since it's so plain and normal, but Gianna insists that frequency doesn't negate any dish from the running. Also, why aren't we all eating our favorite foods every day like she is? As the guide starts us off down another street, I glance at Gianna, who's laughing and teasing Noah like they've known each other for years instead of days, and something hot and sour slices through my chest. I blink, my steps slowing a little when I realize what it is. Jealousy. I love that Noah fits right in with my friend group, so I can win this bet without losing out on time with them. But I don't love that Gianna's getting his attention right now. As if Noah senses my flashing eyes boring into the back of their heads, he turns and grins, motioning for me to walk with him. I hurry up to join them, and when he takes my hand, guilt drops into my stomach like a rock. I'm getting attached, which means I need to cut this off and win the bet before it hurts too much. Macy, look at that. Chris snaps me back to the streets of Zadar, pointing out a tree with a graceful trunk and whimsical weeping branches. One more night and then tomorrow evening, I can end things and level up as a human. That has to be long enough, right? I can do this. We reach the waterfront late in the morning, the sea a flat, brilliant blue under the sun. The promenade runs along the edge of the old town, and we stop at a set of steps. Our guide explains the sea organ, and before he can finish, a low, wavering set of notes rises up around us. It's music from the steps themselves, where the water pushes into hidden pipes below. The sound is strange and mournful and beautiful. We spread out, and Noah and I find a spot on the edge. I take off my sandals and dip my toes in the water. Noah smiles, leaning back with his palms pressed to the stone. He's watching the horizon with that same quiet expression he had in Rovine before I sat down next to him. He feels me looking and glances over. I feel like I've been here for a month, not a couple of days. Gianna sighs behind us. Time is relative. It's a real thing. Chris groans. Have we activated therapist mode? Gianna laughs. You're welcome to opt out. No, I want to hear, I say. Gianna has expressed 1,000 times how hard it is to have philosophical conversations with people in her life. She has to be a more buttoned-up version of herself because people know what she does for a living and always interpret her comments as criticism or self-righteousness. It makes no sense to me. Wouldn't you want a friend who gladly shares their wisdom? When you're doing something new, she says, your brain has to work harder. It's processing more information, forming new memories, paying attention in a way it doesn't during routine. Sometimes in the moment it can feel overwhelming or fast because there's so much input. But when you look back on it, it feels longer, fuller, because your brain recorded more. Laura nods. That's why childhood summers feel endless. Exactly. Everything is new. Every day is distinct. As adults, we fall into patterns and time compresses because our brains stop differentiating one day from the next. Chris crosses her arms. So all those experts who say we should find a routine and minimize new choices every day, Gianna grins, are focused on efficiency and not life enjoyment. Our guide leans in, apparently eavesdropping. I always know Americans on this tour because they want to go faster. He smacks his hand into his palm. No stopping, just next and next. Are we like that? Addie asks. He shakes his head. No, but your accent gives you away. We all laugh as more melancholy notes rise from the sea and stone beneath us. All the time in the world, Noah murmurs, looking back over the sea. And not nearly enough. Noah exhales and leans forward, picking up my hand and dropping it onto his knee. He flips my palm over and inspects it. You really like hand-holding. He glances over with a grin. I do. 5 stars. I laugh, trying to yank my hand back, but he holds it tight. When he starts tracing my lifeline, I still. I didn't realize how important touch was, Noah says. Like not just romantic touch. We talk about it in reference to ICU, palliative, and end-of-life care. Oh, totally. It's one of the first things you notice. The residents who get regular, intentional contact, hand-holding, a hand on the back, even just helping them sit up without rushing, their baseline anxiety drops. You can see it in their breathing. Slower, less shallow. His mouth curves. Co-regulation. Exactly. One of my professors talked about it like an adjunct. Not the main intervention, but something that supports everything else. Pain management improves. Because their nervous system isn't in full threat mode, I say. Less cortisol, more parasympathetic activation. He meets my eyes. His finger paused in the middle of my palm. Right. He folds his hand over mine, cupping it in his lap. But with all the accusations out there, touch is a sensitive thing in medical settings. Understandable and unfortunate. He nods. I didn't realize how much it was affecting me, to be so isolated. I squeeze his hand. Well, now that you've gotten over the hand-holding and kissing hump, the world is your oyster. He laughs. Right. Easy. We sit there in silence for a moment as Noah taps the ends of my fingers with his. Do you ever think about how much of medicine is just trying to recreate what people are missing outside of it? I blow out a breath. All the time. That's why I volunteer. Every time I hand out pills and medications to help with anxiety, depression, and even high blood pressure or bladder infections, I think about the exercise, sunshine, friendship, or healthy food that could take their place. We do our best at our facility, but 6 staff members can't take the place of a family, a spouse, a friend group. I look back at my friends, chatting with other members of our group, and swell to the brim with gratitude. How did I get so lucky to have 2 of the 3? So, my life isn't perfect. The romance side of things is a bit of a mess, but I've been so focused on that for the past 3 months that I've missed out on the incredible relationships I do have. Wait, volunteer or work? Noah asks. I frown. Had I said that? Oh, I meant work. He doesn't let it go. Do you volunteer? I nod. Just a couple of hours a week. There's a woman I'm close with who has early dementia. She's at a facility with fewer staff than we have, and she gets agitated at night. Sundowning, pacing, refusing meds. So I started sitting with her at night a couple of times a week when I'm off, just holding her hand before bed. Who is she? My heart picks up speed. This is the part I didn't want to talk about. The part I haven't even told my friends. Stupid Freudian slip. She's... I try to think of a lie, but I'm not used to making up stories, so everything I think of sounds unrealistic. I give in and tell him the truth. She's my ex's mom. Please don't mention that. I'll tell my friends at some point, but they'll think it's me being walked over again. Did he ask you to do it? Your ex? I shake my head. No, he doesn't go to see her. As far as I can tell, he's completely forgotten about her. Then you're not doing it for him. Doesn't seem like a boundary issue to me. I make a sound in my throat. I feel so seen. He chuckles and his fingers slide against mine. I think what you do is incredible. You don't even know what I do. I only gave him 1 sentence about my job when we first met, and my volunteering a couple of hours a week isn't exactly something to write home about. His grin widens. Yes, I do. Gianna told me all about it. When? Before you showed up for dinner last night? After... Okay, yes, I remember. No need to bring up my crisis on the gangplank. What did she tell you? That you're passionate about caregiving? That your patients love you? I laugh. Well, that's true. Every time I show up after a day off, my patients complain that I never come and visit them anymore. I wear each nag as a badge of honor. She also said that you have the best IV success rate in your care center. My face lights up. She told you that? Technically, there aren't any real statistics, but whenever a difficult patient presents, the other staff always call me. I'm astounded Gianna remembered that. Are you uncomfortable? Noah asks. I glanced down, trying to hide my blush. Yes? I never know what to do with compliments. It's obvious you're a great nurse, Noah says, and I blush harder. She also said this trip wouldn't have happened without you. You're the one who keeps everyone talking. Video call every month. I roll my eyes. They'd do it anyway. I'm just the one who doesn't have a life and can send out the texts. So you're a good nurse and a good friend. Okay. I try to stand, but Noah keeps my hand planted in his. His eyes twinkle. You take care of people all day, but you won't let people take care of you. It's selfless and compassionate. I have no response to that. Noah leans over. Just say thank you. Thank you. I say it like I'm joking, but at least I get it out. I struggle to meet his eyes. Truly, thank you. It means a lot to hear my friends and you talk about me that way. Somewhere behind us, our guide calls out asking us to wrap up and prepare to move on. Noah's hand tenses in mine, and when I look up, his smile is gone. Can I kiss you? He murmurs. For a second, everything else fades. The swell of music, the conversation drifting from the promenade behind us, even the hush of the waves on the stone. All of it blurs at the edges. What is happening right now? He's complimenting me, talking to my friends, and finding out about my history, and like a lock with the perfect combination entry, everything tumbles into place. He's practicing, doing the things you do to be a good boyfriend in a relationship, and damn, he's great at it. I'm instantly more comfortable knowing he's purposefully finding ways to build me up. I shake my head. Wow, you're good. What do you mean? All of that. That's exactly what you should do if you're trying to date someone. It made me feel amazing. Noah's brow dips. Right. So yes, you can kiss me. You earned it. He hesitates, and I wonder if he's going to go back on his request. Most men dive into a kiss like a starting pistol just went off, but Noah barely moves. He exhales and shifts closer on the step, turning toward me fully. Our knees bump. Sorry, he says, his hand trembling a little. It's fine. He swallows hard. I'm overthinking this. A laugh slips out of me, my pulse rushing even faster when I see the tips of his ears. He's so damn cute. I just want to drag him back to my cruise cabin and... Not helpful, in the least. You're doing great so far, I say. I haven't done anything yet. Exactly. I shift into educational mode, taking a note from Gianna and hoping it will cool the heat gathering in my thighs. Women like anticipation, so that's a good thing. You do? I try to breathe normally. Yep, we do. That seems to give him confidence. His free hand lifts and pauses just short of my face like he's giving me one last chance to stop him. I don't. His fingers brush my cheek and then settle there, thumb resting just under my eye. Okay, so that's fantastic. Your pulse jumped, he says. I can feel it in your wrist. Is that a good thing? I nod. It's a good thing. My cheeks flame. Of course Noah's noticing every biological signal my traitorous body exhibits. That's his training and his day job. Okay, he whispers, and finally he leans in. The first contact is almost nothing. A brush. Testing. Like he's waiting for a signal. I tilt my head, leaning into him. His hand shifts against my cheek, and I feel the moment he stops thinking and starts feeling. Noah's shoulders relax. His hand slides from my wrist up my arm, and the hand on my cheek slides around the side of my head, his fingers threading in my hair as he nudges me closer. I don't know how it's possible, but he tastes good. Clean and fresh, and whatever balm is on his lips tastes a little like honey. Noah pulls back, searching my eyes. He's out of breath when he says, Okay. His eyes are soft, his cheeks and lips flushed. I nod, and he looks like he just got 100% on a test. This is better than hand-holding, he says, and I laugh. It's like watching my 3-year-old niece discover bubbles for the first time. Pure joy. Can I do it again? Noah asks. I nod and can't even get the words, "You don't have to ask every single time," out because his lips are already on mine. Okay, Chris says, interrupting us. We look up and she motions to the now empty steps. I was half tempted to let you figure out on your own that we were gone, but Laura said that was a dick move. Noah laughs, standing and pulling me up with him. Sorry, I got distracted. Chris gives me a look that says, clearly. She doesn't say anything else, thankfully, and we hurry to rejoin the group. But as I'm putting our headphones in, Noah stops me. Can we do more of that tonight? I stare at him, not processing the request at first, so he lowers his voice. Kissing. I'd love to try some things, get your feedback. After everything else tonight, I don't want to take away from your time with friends. Josh and I have plans right after dinner, but maybe around 10? Huh. Kissing Noah late at night while he tries things. What could possibly go wrong? Sure, sounds good. Chapter 10. The rest of the evening moves as fast as molasses, but finally, at 10 o'clock on the dot, Noah shows up in the lobby. I panic and suggest we explore the boat to find a spot outside. I can't take him to my cabin since Gianna's getting ready for bed, and there's no way I'm going alone to his room. Not that I think he'd be creepy or anything, I just don't trust myself under those circumstances. We end up walking through the glass doors on the far end of the lounge and discover a small, secluded area on the front of the boat with patio furniture. The music and laughter fade to a dull murmur as the door closes, swallowed up by the steady rush of water cutting through the dark. Out here, it's just the bow slicing forward through the sea. The breeze is warm and it cuts the humidity to balmy instead of stifling. Do you think anyone else will come out here? Noah asks. I shrug and walk toward the curved, cushioned couch. We couldn't see anything out here from inside the lounge, so at least there's that. I sit, clasping my hands and squeezing my knees together like I'm wearing a skirt on the playground. Here. Noah tosses me a blanket. Where did you find that? He nods to a heavy-duty chest at one end of the couch, then sits next to me. I unfold the soft fabric and toss him half. He throws it over his legs and shifts a little closer so we can share. A small portion of our view of the sky is covered by the upper deck, but the rest of our view is magical. It's crystal clear, and without all the light pollution from the city, I can see thousands of bright, twinkling stars. Wow, I exhale, taking it all in. Do you ever go stargazing at home? Noah asks. I shake my head. Sometimes when I'm camping in the summer it happens, but I don't make a special trip. Where do you live now? I almost laugh at the question. We've held hands and kissed, but we barely know anything about each other. Colorado. Oh, still? I can't blame him for asking since almost all of my other friends left the state after graduation and told him as much. Yep, still. He settles back on the couch. You don't sound very happy about that. No, it's fine. It's just... No, never mind. You can tell me. It's pathetic. Even better. I laugh. Short story? I stayed for a guy and it didn't work out. But not because you broke it off. Ah, okay, that's what we're doing? Noah chortles and throws an arm over my shoulder. I can say that because I'm a coward too. At least you didn't want to hurt someone else's feelings. I didn't want to hurt my own. I lean my head on his shoulder. No, pretty sure mine was selfish. How so? My hands start to tingle. Have I said this out loud to anyone? Maybe it's the silence or the dark, but it doesn't feel hard to admit it now. Because it made me feel worthwhile? To be wanted? Noah twists a strand of my hair around his finger. Med school made me feel worthwhile. If I excelled at that, I didn't have to think about anything else, but now I only have 3 years left. What's your specialty? Or just general? Pediatrics. Saving kids' lives. Add that to his already ovary twitch-inducing resume. I gaze past the bow of the ship, letting the slow hush of the waves lull me into a trance. Staying in those relationships never made me happy. He tugs on my hair and sighs. Yeah, I'm not sure I know how to be. I nod. That's why my friends made this bet. They know I need to figure things out on my own and not keep expecting some guy to fill the gap. They're good friends. They really are. I pull the blanket further up my body, bunching it beneath my chin. And you have your brother? Noah breathes a laugh. I do indeed. I turn my head and my hair slips from Noah's fingers. Is there something going on between the two of you? Noah wets his lips, and I watch that little pucker in his skin. He wants what's best for me, always has, but his idea of what's best is exactly what worked for him. Which is traveling the world, sleeping with lots of women, partying with the friends he makes everywhere he goes. Ugh, sounds terrible. Noah laughs. Honestly, to me it does. I don't want all of that. He shakes his head. It sounds stupid, but I want this. He gestures to the small deck around us. A beautiful place, peace and quiet, one person to come home to, building a family and growing old together. My heart skips a beat, even though I know he's talking in theoreticals. There's a shift in him then, like he reached out and pulled all the windows closed. That'll probably have to wait until after residency, though. Oh? His jaw is set. No woman would want to deal with the stress and the long hours. And you've asked them? What? He looks down to meet my eyes. These women, you've asked them, and they've all said, no way would I be with someone during residency? He fumbles for words. No, but it's common sense. I reach up and pat his cheek. Noah, remember, you don't know how great you are. I'm pretty sure there would be a line of women willing to grind it out for a few years if they got to sleep next to you every night. Noah's lips twitch, and as the silence stretches, I search for a change of topic. The scar wins out. Where'd you get this? I tap my pointer finger on the edge of his mouth. His expression softens. Josh ran into my face with a shopping cart. I laugh. Seriously? How old were you? 7. He knocked out a tooth. I laugh harder. I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's pretty funny. Josh still feels bad about it. I hope you milk it. Oh, definitely. He smiles, and I'm a seagull faced with something shiny. It's just so pretty. I can't help but trace his jaw with my fingers. When I realize what I'm doing, I pull back and cover my jumping heart with a little cough. Are you glad you went to med school? Yes. But you're not looking forward to residency? Yes and no. Not thrilled about moving, but it will only be short term, and Boston seems like a fun city to explore. Disappointment rushes through me at that discovery. Noah was in Colorado all this time, and now that we've met, he's leaving? Lots of exploring when you're exhausted. Exactly, and poor. I grin. Hey, poor adventures are the best adventures. Noah laughs at that. Only if you have people to experience them with. Whatever, you'll make 1,000 friends. Images of him meeting other doctors in his program flash in my head. Cute, smart women, nurses, all of them seeing that little dimple in his lip and wanting to... Oh my goodness. What is wrong with me? Now I'm making up other women to be jealous of? I'm not a jealous or protective person. Not when I first start dating someone, and not when we've been together for years. I've never been catty with my boyfriend's coworkers or questioned them about the women they talk with on a daily basis. But the idea of Noah flashing that smile around a hospital makes me want to put a paper bag over his head and wrap him in hazard tape that says, "Do not touch." I'm stalling. Noah tips his head back, a look of disappointment on his face. I'm still so nervous, even though we talked about doing this. The kissing. Right. I draw a deep breath, my hands starting to sweat. Don't you think that's normal? You probably know the physiology of it. It's your nervous system flipping from baseline to alert. Heart rate goes up, breathing changes, blood flow shifts, especially to your skin and genitals. Your brain's releasing dopamine and oxytocin, so everything feels more intense, more focused. Thank you, Dr. Noah. He smiles, as if flipping into a role he's good at gave him the boost of confidence he needed. I'm going to tell you something, but you can't laugh. I purse my lips. No promises. Noah drags a hand over his face. I've kept notes. My brow furrows. About what? Whenever I see a reel or article or anything about how to make a woman, feel good, my eyes widen. You kept notes? He turns away from me, laughing. I know, it's so lame. Not lame, I want to know what they say. Stop. Seriously, what's number 1? I don't remember. I've never tried any of them, so it's all hearsay. And oh, but we both know everything you hear on the internet is binding truth. Noah laughs. I just want to be good at it when it happens. Don't put your expectations too high, okay? I think it's something you have to work up to. He turns back, a smile still on his face. I'm counting on it. My stomach swoops, and I realize I'm halfway on top of him, the blanket tangled between us. He clears his throat. You're okay with me trying a few of the kissing ones? I nod. Sure. Just like on the steps, he shifts closer, but this time it doesn't take him long to lean in. I read that women like it when you take time to explore. My eyes flutter closed as his lips brush the corner of my mouth. Ah, so you do remember. He chuckles, his breath feathering along my skin as he tilts my head and kisses my jaw, then where my pulse rushes in my neck. Like that? That's not the worst, I whisper. His nose brushes my throat as he kisses my collarbone, and I wonder if anyone has ever pressed their lips there before. So just anywhere? He murmurs. All of it's good, or are some spots better than others? I work to form a proper sentence. I think the sensitive spots are best. Noah nods and reaches for my arm. He lifts it over my head, then he kisses the inside of my elbow and trails the underside of my arm until I gasp involuntarily as he closes in on my underarm. No? He asks. Just surprised. It's very sensitive. It's a region with a high density of superficial mechanoreceptors and relatively thin dermal layers, plus it's near the axillary nerve distribution. Light stimulation there gets amplified and processed as more intense sensory input. I laugh. Talk dirty to me, doctor. Noah's grinning as he lifts his head. Too technical? I can't help but imagine the possibilities if he's that well versed on the underside of my arm. Nope. He nods and lowers my hand. So that's a good strategy? Very. I shift as subtly as possible on the cushions. Noah's eyes flick to my lips. This next one's during an actual kiss. Okay. I draw a deep breath, readying myself. He lowers his head and kisses me like he did at the sea organ, soft and slow. My eyes flutter closed as his mouth shifts just enough that his top lip slides beneath mine, and then he catches my lower lip between his teeth. It's gentle, light, controlled pressure, but it's so unexpected that a small sound slips out of me and his entire body stills. Too much? He asks. My fingers tighten in his shirt. No, I breathe. No, it's good. He kisses me again and tries a second time. This time he drags his teeth just slightly along my lower lip before releasing it, and the sensation sends a sharp flicker of heat through my chest, down my spine. He pulls back just enough that our lips barely touch. He hovers there, his chest moving against mine, then leans in again, moving slow like he's drawing the moment out on purpose. The kiss is electric because he has me waiting for it. My hand slides up to his shoulder, the need to hold on to something almost primal. Noah moves with more force, parting my lips, and lets his tongue barely graze mine. He pulls back instantly, searching my face. Is that bad? I half laugh, half gasp for air. No, not bad. Not all women like tongue, or so I hear. I think most women do when it's not shoved down their throats. Men do that? I draw another deep breath. They do, in fact. His brow furrows. Then, without asking this time, he tries again. When he parts my lips, he notices my head tilt and nudges me back. He deepens the kiss, not following, but pulling me where he wants me. It's confident and demanding and hot. So hot. As much as I convince myself that I want to be in charge, in situations like this, I really don't. I want to not think. I want to be taken care of. And that was the problem with Ben, wasn't it? It never felt like this. It felt like Ben was taking what he wanted, and I'm not sure why or how this feels so different, but it very much does. Noah pulls back again, but not far. Okay, he murmurs. Last one. Last one? I echo, disappointment threading through me. He nods once, then kisses me. My mouth, my cheek, then back to my mouth. His teeth catch my lips, and then he's dragging his lips down my throat, and I moan and barely notice because he's back at my mouth, flicking his tongue against mine, his hand wrapped around my neck, cradling my head as he pulls me against his chest, and he's pausing, holding. His breath is ragged, and I'm the one who grasps his shirt and pulls him back. I need him. I need this. My fingers curl at the base of his neck, my other hand gripping his hair as I fall back, and Noah lands on top of me, bracing himself with one arm on the couch cushion. He's heavy and warm, and whatever rational thought I had left evaporates. My tongue slides against his, my teeth grabbing his lower lip and releasing. Holy hell, this is the best kiss of my life, and I don't want it to end. I kiss him harder, scrambling for options. I could grab his hand and go to his room. The thought hits me out of nowhere. I could stand up right now, take his hand, walk down the hall, and I wouldn't stop. I want to know what other tips he read. I want him to try them all. And that realization splashes over me like a bucket of cold water. I push on his shoulders and scrabble for purchase, lifting myself up to sitting. Noah jolts and heaves himself up. Are you? I'm fine. He's still crouched over me, both of us panting like we just ran a half marathon. Did I do something wrong? I let out a strangled laugh. No, Noah. That was no notes. I pull my legs out from under him and drop them to the deck. Then, because I'm worried I'm going to reach out and haul his face back to my mouth, I jump up and walk to the railing. When I can breathe almost normally, I turn, my hand still gripping the metal. So, you're really good at that? Yeah? He's sitting there with his shirt and hair mussed, his lips swollen. I'm seconds away from suggesting we go back to his cabin, which is why I have to say, I don't think you need any more practice, and that was the whole point of this, right? His brows pinch, and he wipes his palms on the blanket still wrapped around his waist. Right? So, you got what you needed, and now I need to get my practice in. I straighten my shoulders. Noah, this has been fun, and now I think it's best that we just be friends. He stills. I thought we still had tomorrow. I don't think we need it, considering. I gesture to him, the couch, the blanket. This definitely counts as a fling, so now I'm breaking it off. Noah nods, taking this in. Okay, yeah, I get it, but there's no but. That was the deal. Right, I just thought. Thanks for being a good sport. I start toward the glass door. Macy, and we can still hang out, okay? You're kind of an official member of the group now, so don't be a stranger. I flash a smile and finger guns. Finger guns? All right, good night, Noah. Macy, stop. I barely hear that and can't acknowledge it because if I turn around, I'm going to go back on everything I just said. Tears fill my eyes as I exit the lounge and start down the stairs to my deck. Friend bet completed. Thank goodness I was smart enough to break it off before it started to hurt. Chapter 11. I used to think a good vacation day had to be memorable in big, obvious ways. Landmarks and iconic photos, something Instagram-worthy. But today it doesn't work like that. The beauty of an Adriatic cruise is that there's very little time at sea. Unfortunately, since I've been staying up late talking with friends, reading, and kissing Noah on the front of the ship, I'm running myself back into the sleep deficit I acquired flying across the globe in a 90-degree angled chair. I selfishly want a day to nap, eat, and nap some more, but that isn't in the cards. What I do get is a day sans fling. I announce my breakup at breakfast, and while the girls are a little skeptical, the fact that Noah isn't there with us helps. It's only because this was one of his planned mornings with Joshua, but still. The 5 of us leave the ship early, barely caffeinated. At least we remembered our water bottles and sunscreen because today we're spending time in nature. Šibenik is one of the oldest coastal cities in Croatia. Like the others, it boasts pale stone and steep winding streets that lead past squares and cafes until everything opens out toward the sea. There's the Cathedral of St. James sitting right in the center, anchoring the whole place. The church is built entirely out of stone. No wood, no mortar, just slabs fitted together. After a jaunt through Old Town, we seek out what Šibenik is known for. Waterfalls. Not just one, the single drop kind you see on TikTok, but an entire network of them. Layered, terraced, spilling over. The closest thing I've ever seen that's similar is Gibbon Falls in Yellowstone. We head into Kirka National Park, where the river widens and slows and then suddenly breaks apart over limestone shelves, creating long, shallow cascades. There are wooden boardwalks that sit just above the water so you can get close. The main falls, Skredinsky Book, aren't a single drop but a series of them, fanning out in steps, each one feeding the next. Water braids through patches of green, collects in clear pools where fish flicker beneath the surface, then spills forward again like it's running a race. Mist hangs low in the air near the heavier cascades, just enough to cool your skin without ever turning into a full spray. It's completely magical. So, how does it feel being a functioning member of the dating community? Laura asks, stopping next to me and staring at the majesty before us. I laugh. I feel a little proud. You should be. I bet it was hard. Not that hard. She gives me a look. I heard about your couch soiree. My eyes bug out of my head. What? Laura's smile splits her face. Apparently, those old men on Noah's trivia team were in the lounge when you two went outside. There are rumors flying among the 65-plus crowd. So the entire ship. Excellent. And you heard about this how? 2 people asked about it in the buffet line. Her eyes twinkle. Of course they did. Well, it's over, so people can speculate all they want. It was fun while it lasted. I jut out my chin and plant my hands on my hips, trying to get last night with Noah out of my head. That kiss? I still don't know what his last thing was because I was drowning in every sensation. If I could reverse time and experience it again. But cutting this fling off is exactly what I need to do. I can focus on myself, try to figure out patterns of happiness that can follow me back to Colorado, not waste more time pining after a relationship that is never going to happen. We rejoin the others and drift in and out of conversations as we hike on. We pair off, link arms, stop to rest and snack, and spend plenty of time soaking in the awe-inspiring beauty all around us. Time is most definitely relative. It stretches and collapses, making me forget anything before the park while at the same time feeling like it has been only minutes since we started walking. When we're all exhausted, we sit on 2 benches along the path, our legs stretched out in the sun. I lean my head on Chris's shoulder, and Gianna nudges my foot with hers. You're quiet today, she says. Am I? She just went through a breakup, Addie teases. Gianna watches me. We'll circle back on that. They let it lie for the moment, and I'm grateful. I must have thoughts and feelings about it, but right now, I can't access them. Maybe I'm overly tired, or maybe I need a long shower to sort through my feelings. It's complicated, doesn't even begin to cover it. I glanced down at my phone to see if my sister, Paige, texted. I sent her a message first thing this morning, hoping to catch her before she went to work, but she didn't respond. But as I'm about to slide it back in my pocket, a different text message comes through. Wait, Ben's texting you? Chris says, and I flip my phone over. Sorry, I didn't mean to spy. It just lit up. It's fine. Why the hell was Ben texting me? I pop up from the bench. You're not going to read it? Addie looks dumbfounded. I shake my head. Boundaries, remember? I feel a little guilty saying that, considering I still haven't admitted to visiting his mom, but Noah's words gave me a surprising amount of confidence. I can be a good person without it being about Ben. It's all I can do to leave my phone in my pocket until we're back on the ship. We scatter to our cabins for pre-dinner showers, and Gianna opts to go second. I check my phone as the bathroom fills with steam. Ben. Got a call from my mom's nurse this morning. She's not eating. I'm going to visit her tomorrow morning if you want to come. I roll my eyes. Good for him. Visiting his mom once in 6 months because a nurse made him feel like a turd of a son. I set the phone on the counter and strip off the rest of my clothes, then hop in the shower. The hot water makes me shiver as I tilt my head back and let it wash over my body. Ben is selfish and entitled, but he isn't a liar. If the facility called him, that meant things were looking bad. She's probably stressed and not sleeping since I haven't been there, so hopefully that will resolve itself when I get back. That was one of my main anxieties coming on this trip. The mental and physical health of my patients, whether they'd be okay without me. I scrub my skin and try to ward off the guilt. Ben's mom was doing fine when I left. So were all of my other patients. Yes, decline can happen rapidly, but I wouldn't be able to stop that even if I were there. The self-talk kind of helps, though deep down I still feel responsible. By the time I step out, skin flushed and hair dripping, I'm a little more settled about the whole thing. I wrap a towel around myself and push open the bathroom door. Gianna is sitting cross-legged on her bed, already stripped to her underwear. Okay, I'm going to shower fast. She holds up her phone. Addie just texted, emergency meeting. I frown, walking around the bed to get to my toiletries. Is she okay? Yes, are you? She nods to the phone in my hand. I blow out a breath and drop the towel, scooping some body butter into my palm and warming it between my hands. It's Ben's mom. What about her? She's in assisted living and isn't doing well. So why is he telling you about it? I bend and rub the body butter into my legs. I know what you're going to think, but I love Carol. Ben never visits her, so I go over there sometimes. Gianna's silent for a beat. Are you going because you feel like you have to? I scoop out more body butter. No. When she doesn't comment, I caveat. I don't think so. I finish moisturizing and pull on my underwear. Sometimes I can't tell. Gianna's face lights up. Wait, are you going to let me do this? I sigh. Yes, therapize me. She claps her hands and settles into the pillows. I have to laugh at the ridiculousness of this scene, both of us in our underwear about to dig deep into my psyche. I wonder if all therapists find themselves in situations like this. Gianna clears her throat. Okay, tell me more about that statement. I drop onto the end of the bed. I don't know. When I try to figure out my motivations, they're all mixed up. It's like I search for a metaphor. Like a salad. It's mostly lettuce, but then there's egg, bacon, tomatoes, and cheese sprinkled in. And the lettuce is wanting to help because I want to, not because I think I'm supposed to. But sometimes I worry about that too. Like, do I want to because someone made me believe it's what I'm supposed to do? Gianna shakes her head. I've known you a long time, Mace. You love helping people. I think it's in your DNA. My throat thickens. She has no idea how much I needed to hear that. When your life starts to fall apart, you second guess everything, including your own version of reality, your own sense of self. It's easy to believe that if everything else is wrong, maybe I'm wrong. I need some stable ground to work from. I continue my explanation. The eggs, bacon, and cheese are guilt over every elderly patient sitting alone in a nursing home. That sucks, and I want to help them all, but I can't. It's worry that I don't have any other skills or things that I can offer the world. It's depression about being home alone on a Friday night, so I might as well be helpful. You know, all the things. Gianna smiles. Okay, well, just the fact that you know the salad's not all lettuce makes me really confident that you're in a good place. Yeah? She nods. None of us is singularly motivated. Take this trip. I came because I want to travel and I want to spend time with my friends. Also, I'm sick of my coworker Melanie, who's constantly making us pick up her clients because she can't get her crap together, and there's all the guilt because I shouldn't be judging her, but I am, so getting away lets me avoid it, which I also feel guilt about. Plus, my mom wanted me to watch her dogs this week, and I really didn't want to do that. I laugh and roll over on the bed, propping my head in my hands. But the lettuce is friend time? Hell yes. Her phone dings. She looks at it and throws her legs off the bed. Okay, we do actually need to go to Addie's room. I nod. Shower. I'll be ready. She slides the bathroom door open and pauses. I wouldn't buy an all-lettuce salad, by the way. Gross. I grin as she disappears behind the door. Gianna and I appear at Addie's door 15 minutes later. I'm impressed with Gianna's fast shower and our mutual willingness to forgo drying our hair. When we walk in, I regret everything. It's not just Laura, Addie, and Chris sprawled across the beds. Perched on the end of the bed like he was on the receiving end of a massage train is Noah. His face is tan after his adventures with Josh today, and he's wearing a collared button-up, the sleeves rolled up to his forearms. My chest tightens. What are you doing here? He smiles. They adopted me. Addie pops her gum. He called the meeting. My jaw drops. He's not allowed to call an emergency meeting. Laura shrugs. He's a part of the group now. I look to Gianna for backup, but she's got a sadistic grin on her face like we just turned on Real Housewives. Motion to accept Noah into the friend group for the remainder of this trip? Chris laughs. Seconded. Noah gives me a look and I purse my lips. What had I said when I rushed off the deck last night? That he was welcome to hang out with us anytime? I blow out a breath. Okay, perfect. So what's the emergency? He stands, brushing his hands down the front of his shirt like he's about to give a presentation. Why is that so hot? When he cares about things and gets all nervous and professional? Okay, he says. So I've been thinking. He pauses and draws a breath. And I've come to a conclusion. I feel like I'm not going to be a fan of whatever he's about to say. I lean against the wall and brace myself. Noah looks up from the carpet and fixes his gaze on me. I think we should date. For real. My eyes widen, my heart jumping into my throat. I scan the room looking for any hint or clue from my friends, but they only watch me with delight. Addie nods toward Noah with a look that says, "He likes you." I blink and shake my head. No, that's not what this is. Do we get along? Yes. Do we have fun together? Yes. But does that mean he likes me? Absolutely not. I'm just a girl who's conveniently on his cruise ship and willing to kiss him. This, I say, gesturing at him and me and everything in between, is exactly what I was worried about. What? Noah says. The fling, and you getting all confused. I say it like a joke, ignoring the way his expression shifts in response, because the alternative is saying, you don't actually know me or know what you want in a relationship, and that feels like a jerk move. I'm not sure what you mean, he says. I drag a hand through my damp hair. Okay, it's like when I was in 8th grade. There was this guy, Jordan, and we were at a party. He kissed me in the basement, and I was obsessed with him for weeks, but it turned out Jordan had zero personality, like nothing going on in his head. I figured that out when we finally hung out again, and all that obsessive energy went down the drain. You're saying you have zero personality? Noah asks. I'm saying that we kissed. A lot, he adds. My cheeks flush. Correct, and that only strengthens my point. You are feeling a lot right now, but it's probably not because of me. But what if it is? I close my mouth and look at Gianna. A little help here? Yes, I hear what you're saying. It's possible that Noah's confusing excitement with real attraction. Gianna pauses and gives an apologetic smile before saying, and it's also possible that he likes you because you're really great. It's the second one, Noah says, with such an earnest expression, my cold heart defrosts a little. Then I look at my friends' hopeful faces and it freezes over again. What is even happening right now? First, you tell me I need to practice breaking up with someone, and now you're looking at me like I'm a jerk for not dating him? I point at Noah. That was hard, walking away last night, for the record, and I did it because I needed to put on my big girl pants and not be such a pushover. You all taught me that. So what, now I'm supposed to do what I always do? Solve all my problems by jumping into a hot doctor's arms? Ben wasn't a doctor, Chris murmurs, and I shoot her a glare. Laura shrugs. I don't think this is the same thing. It sure as heck feels like the same thing to me. All I want to do is be with Noah. It's how I feel whenever I'm single and given the opportunity to be with someone. I'm sad and desperate and unsure of myself and afraid of the future. Being single isn't a salad for me. It's a full-on mashed-together smoothie. Noah closes his eyes for a second, then meets my gaze. All I'm saying is that I missed you today. My heart stalls, and I cover it with, or did you just miss us? And gesture to the group. I missed you, Macy. That lands in my chest like a hand pressing into wet cement. I missed you too, but that doesn't mean this is a good idea. Noah starts to give a rebuttal, but I hold up a hand. I just think you need some time to meet other people. If you tried a burger for the first time, you might think it's your favorite food, but what about sushi or barbecue or Thai food? I'm not going to lie, Thai food is so much better than a burger. Gianna puts up a hand to high-five me. Killing it with the food metaphors today, babe. I slap her hand with a grin. Noah's jaw ticks, but he doesn't drop his eyes. After a moment, he says, okay. I blink. Was he giving in that easily? Okay. I'll date around, he says, his mouth curling at the corners. I'll get more experience. My pulse speeds as images of him with beautiful European women fill my head. That's what I asked for, isn't it? Perfect. Thank you. He shrugs with an amused tilt of his mouth. You made a compelling argument. My eyes narrow. Why is he so pleased about this? Considering how intense he was a few seconds ago, it doesn't compute. I did. You want me to be sure? Right. So I will be. Awesome. He steps back, clapping his hands once like the meeting is officially over. Well, this was productive. The cheerful look on his face makes my stomach swoop. We've got dinner together tonight and then split tomorrow, right? He says, moving to the door, making me shift out of the way. You know it, Addie says. Noah opens the door and looks back at us. See you in an hour, besties. Chapter 12. I don't sleep well. Mostly because Noah was charming and delightful at dinner and I can't figure out what the hell is happening. Shouldn't he be offended after what I said? Throwing a tantrum that he didn't get what he wanted or at least giving me the cold shoulder? That's what all the guys I've dated would do. What I said was reasonable, but for him to flip-flop like that? It's strange. And the last characteristic I'd assign to Noah is strange. My cognitive dissonance wouldn't be so extreme if Noah had even one irritating quality, like chewing too loudly or bringing up little-known facts nobody asked for. But Noah's particular talent is being perfectly pleasant. He's easy to talk to, funny without performing, and helpful without making it a thing. He listens when people talk. He remembers details like Chris's congressman drama and Laura's frustration with her roommate's clutter, which she barely mentioned in passing on the way to the buffet. My friends adore him. Probably more than they love me, and I can't even be mad about it. I hurry to finish my second cup of coffee before we get off the ship in Split. So far on the trip, we've had perfect weather, and today is no different. The air is warm and humid, and there's green everywhere. Also, Noah looks stupid good in his worn navy t-shirt. Just stating facts. As I step off the gangway, I decide I'm going to be mature. If Noah can have such a good attitude about this, so can I. I'll be supportive and not weird. I told him we can be friends, and I'm going to make him see that I'm fully capable of living up to that assessment. This line of thinking is how I end up pointing out women to him like I'm hosting some deranged sightseeing tour. Oh, that girl is pretty, I say within the first 20 minutes of our tour, gesturing toward a woman across the square in a yellow dress. She has great hair. Noah looks where I point, then looks back at me. Do you want me to compliment her from here? I'm just saying. He keeps walking. Our group spills through the narrow streets with our guide, and once he sets us free, we stop for photos and drinks and whatever Addie claims is a quick look into a shop that somehow turns into 30 minutes of bracelets and linen. Noah doesn't complain about any of it. He even buys a pair of men's capris, which only makes him hotter. As we're waiting in line for cevapi, grilled minced meat sausages stuffed into pillowy flatbread, Noah leans toward me and says, Are you going to assign me another woman soon, or do I get a lunch break? I keep my face straight with considerable effort. I'm not assigning you women. I don't know, it feels a little like white glove service. I glance at him. You said you were going to date around. I did. And I'm helping. Are you? I scoff. If you'd let me. He laughs under his breath as he steps up to the window. We order our flatbreads and eat sitting on benches, the grease dripping down our hands. This is the best thing I've ever tasted, Laura says. I laugh. You said that about the burek. Yeah, well, both can be true. Addie coughs and tries to take off the lid to her water but can't get it one-handed. Noah reaches out and unscrews it for her. She reaches for it, then hesitates, frowning at her greasy hand. I don't want to get it dirty. Noah grins and motions for her to tip her head. I'll water you. Addie laughs and opens her mouth. I shove another bite of cevapi into mine as Noah waterfalls a slow stream of water and Addie gulps it down. Why, thank you, sir, she says, wiping her mouth with the back of her hand. My pleasure. He screws the cap on and sets it on the ground next to her foot. When everyone's finished, we beeline straight for the beach. It's perfect timing since the sun is high and we're starting to sweat. As soon as we set up a spot on the sand, I reach for the hem of my dress and pull it up over my head. The breeze hits my skin. A glorious relief, and I step out of the fabric, shaking my hair loose. When I look up, Noah's standing in front of the towel, staring right at me. It's not subtle. He lets his eyes drop and flick back up, then he grins and pulls off his shirt. I whirl around, forcing myself not to stare at his shifting pecs and flexing arms. Okay, so this is how he's playing it? Is this his plan? Try to get me to change my mind? Honestly, it's a good plan because I'm already considering it, but that's the weakness I need to weed out on this trip. Water's perfect, Gianna calls, already halfway in. And now that's a good wing woman. I run down the sand and launch myself into the waves, gasping as the cold water hits my legs. You said it was perfect. She laughs and splashes me. It's refreshing, Noah says, suddenly right there beside us. He winks and dives in head first, then swims off into deeper water. Addie coughs again, covering her mouth. Man, I think I swallowed something down the wrong tube. That happens when you pour water straight down your throat? Addie grins. Are we jealous? I scoff. No. She clears her throat, and it sounds phlegmy. Before I can ask if she needs vitamin C or something, Noah returns to the group, holding up a small, faded ball. Did someone tell you to fetch? I say, and he laughs, tossing it at my chest. I catch it, barely, and toss it back. And just like that, we're playing. All 6 of us get in on it. No rules, no structure, just throwing it back and forth, then farther, then harder, then deliberately out of reach so the other person has to lunge for it, slipping and laughing and swearing under our breath. It's the most fun I've had in ages. When I get the ball next, I fake left, then throw right, and Noah misses it completely. The ball skipping off the surface behind him. Sabotage, he shouts, swimming for it. Skill, I correct. He throws it high and loopy, and Addie grabs it. Get in a group, let's play 500. Laura shakes her head. The last time I played 500, I broke my wrist. Did you play in water? Gianna laughs. Laura rolls her eyes and joins the rest of us. When Addie's satisfied, she tosses the ball in the air and calls out, 200! Noah lunges for the ball, but I get there first. My fingers close around it, but before I can reel it in, there's an arm around my waist. I gasp as I'm lifted clean off my feet. Hey! The ball drops from my hand, and Noah drops me into the water. I surface to see him laughing above me, holding the ball. Got it. Cheater! He reaches out and swipes my wet hair from my face. You like it. I do not! He grabs me again and tosses me into the waves as I shout his name like a curse word. This time, when I come up, he's running the opposite direction through the water. Smart man. I race after him, intent on drowning him just a little, but he scrambles out onto the beach, tossing the ball back to Gianna. I have to put on sunscreen. He holds up his hands like it's an instant get-out-of-jail-free card. I flip him off, and he chortles before jogging up to our pile of things. Chris walks up and nudges me. So, what are we doing? What? She nods toward Noah, who's searching through Laura's backpack for the communal bottle of sunscreen she brought. Not him, I say, and she snorts. She draws a deep breath, then looks at me and says, Mace? Chris? You like him too. I curl my toes into the soft sand. This is a vacation, not real life. I know how real life goes. Noah finishes drying himself with a towel and squeezes sunscreen into his hand. I turn and look the opposite direction and lower my voice. He's great, okay? That's the problem. He's sweet and funny, smart and considerate. I stop, trailing my fingers through the water. You know how I am. I do. I get attached. I know. And it's only been 3 days, and there's no way this works out. Plus, I have all of this to work through. I gesture at my middle. Okay, but do you hear yourself? Unfortunately, yes. Chris moves closer. You're acting like he's some prize horse and you're a folding chair. I drop my eyes, but she forces my chin up. You're amazing, and no, don't do that. Don't make the little face like I'm being nice because we're friends. I'm not. I'm not that nice of a person. You're that nice of a person, and sometimes that's a problem. But I'm starting to think, she turns her head, dropping her hand from my face, that maybe he is too. My heart squeezes, not only at the compliments, but at her assessment of Noah. He is a nice person. Is that even possible? 2 nice people being attracted to each other? I make a note to ask Gianna her professional opinion when Noah calls from the beach. Hey, can someone help with my back? Chris and I turn, and he waggles an eyebrow. I look to the others. They all avoid eye contact like I'm trying to sell them pest control. Seriously? I say. They know I won't be able to resist helping someone who needs it. We're pretty busy, Mace. Gianna tosses the ball to Chris, who laughs and moves away from me before I can shove her under the water. Traitors! Every last one of you! I stalk out of the water, and the sand sticks to my feet, warming my skin. Noah grins as I approach and hands me the bottle. You probably need sunscreen too. He turns around, flexing a little. He's not wrong. Even though I applied before leaving the ship, I need all the SPF I can get, given my Irish heritage. I squeeze a dollop of coconut-scented cream in my hand and slap it onto Noah's back. This is clinical, I tell myself, just like rubbing hand cream on my old ladies at work. But Noah's skin doesn't feel like the old ladies at work. It's soft and warm, tight over his muscles. Why don't you have a farmer's tan? I ask. I do. Barely. He shrugs. Colorado sunny. I run outside. Shirtless? For most of the year. He pulls down the edge of his swim shorts to show the white line on his hip. I clear my throat. Well, that's nice for you. Some days, especially in winter, I barely see the sun. Why hadn't I thought to get out and walk on my lunch break or something? I swipe my fingers just under the line of his trunks and make sure to say, so you don't get burned when it moves. It isn't anything personal, just good application technique. A tall blonde in a red swimsuit cover-up walks past us and looks at Noah through her eyelashes. I step back in a rush and try to look like I'm busy with something. What are you doing? Noah asks. Just looking for something. Lip balm. I hunt through my fanny pack until I find it, then hold it up like I just won the lottery. Lips are parched from the salt water. Uh-huh. I pop my lips for effect, then slide the tube back in the bag. That girl seemed pretty cool. There it is. What? I point in her direction. She was obviously noticing you, and she seems like she runs. How so? Calves. She has great calves. He nods gravely and says, Your logic is undeniable. Then motions for me to spin. What? I'm doing your back. He grabs the sunscreen. It's fine. I can turn. I start to swivel when I catch Addie trudging up the sand toward us, coughing into her elbow. I think I just need water, she calls, pointing to her water bottle on the sand. I grab it and hold it out, then gasp when I see her up close. Holy crap, Addie! She follows my eyes and looks down at her stomach. Red, splotchy hives cover her skin. She coughs again. Do you have any allergies? She shakes her head. I don't think so. I hand her the bottle and inspect her back. More hives there. Ugh, my throat is so itchy, I could scratch it out, she says. There are hives everywhere. Her arms, legs, and neck. Noah? I start, but he's already putting his shirt on over the sunscreen I just applied. On it. Chapter 13. What did we eat today? I ask the group, getting Addie set up on a towel in the shade. Laura brings up the street food flatbread. Addie lists out her breakfast, but it's the same thing she's had every day. The flatbread it is, then. I rack my brain for anything that could be problematic. Shellfish comes to mind first because that reaction can be late onset. Some people develop an allergy out of nowhere in their 20s and 30s, then tree nuts, peanuts, sesame, and if something was hiding in a sauce? But Addie said she doesn't have a known allergy to those. It's less likely to appear randomly, but still possible. And not pollen, that doesn't hit like this. Not dairy, that would be a whole other set of problems. This is an immune system overreaction, IgE, histamine dump, the kind that can escalate fast. I keep my voice steady. Can you breathe normally? She swallows. Mostly? Not what I want to hear. I instruct Gianna to start searching for an urgent care, but Addie shakes her head. No way, I don't have travel insurance. Wait, Laura lights up. There's a doctor on the ship, right? We could just rush her there. I'm a doctor, Noah says, dropping to his knees with a paper bag, and everyone breathes a collective sigh of relief at his return. You still have to pay for medical care on the boat. Addie coughs, rubbing at the skin on her throat. I'll send you a bill later. Noah rummages in the bag. Cetirizine. He rips open the box and punches a tablet through the foil. 10 milligrams. He leans closer to Addie. Take a slow breath for me. She does. Her chest rises and falls. Again, he says. She obeys and he nods. No stridor, no wheeze. Air movement's good. Voice sounds the same, I add. He nods. No visible edema. He reaches back into the bag and pulls out a small amber bottle this time, unscrewing it as he talks. Prednisone. My eyes widen. How did you get that? Talked to the guy. Pharmacist wasn't thrilled, but he gave me a short course. Of course he did. Of course Noah walked into a Croatian pharmacy and got a prescription steroid just by asking. He hands both to Addie. This antihistamine will help reduce itching and swelling and won't make you drowsy like Benadryl. The steroid will calm down your immune system. Addie swallows them both, chasing them with the water Gianna's already holding out. I blow out a breath. Okay, we need to decide if we're escalating care. I'm not going in, Addie says immediately. It's not getting worse. I just need a minute, she insists. I glance at Noah and we have an entire silent conversation. We both know how quickly allergies can go sideways, but she's still breathing fine. What would they really do at the hospital besides what we're already doing? But someone needs to watch her for at least the next 12 hours. Noah nods once. We give it 5 minutes. If symptoms plateau or improve, we stay. If anything escalates, tightening, voice changes, trouble swallowing, we go to the hospital immediately. I already found one place, Gianna says. It's 10 minutes from here if we catch a ride. Addie opens her mouth. No. I give her my nurse voice and face. That's the deal. She looks between Noah and me and quickly realizes she's not winning this argument. Addie blows out a breath and says, Fine. The next few minutes stretch. Addie apologizes for ruining our beach afternoon, and we all assure her that nothing's ruined. After 5 minutes, she swears she's not feeling any new symptoms, so we give it another 5. After 10, her coughing is less frequent, and she's not pawing at her throat. We relax on the beach and get her some cold water from a stand near the walkway, all of us taking turns dipping in the ocean when we're sure the reaction's on its way out. Addie even gets back in after about half an hour. The hives on her skin look less angry, and part of me wonders if the salt water will actually be good for calming them down. It feels right, even though I have no idea if it's true. The girls and I make a plan. I'm going to sleep in Addie's room to make sure nothing weird happens overnight. I'd never forgive myself if Addie asphyxiated in her sleep. We tell her as we board the ship, and she doesn't fight it, which tells me she's glad she won't be alone. She's sleepy before we finish dinner, and I take her back to the room after she thanks Noah profusely. We're only a few doors down from each other, so I grab my toiletries and a book from my cabin and head over. In 5 minutes, our faces are washed, we're in our PJs and snuggled into our twin beds. How are you feeling? I ask. Exhausted, but normal? She yawns. Probably the Benadryl talking. I laugh. You took it? Doctor's orders. She turns to face me. How lucky are we that we have Noah? Lucky. I don't think I could have talked a pharmacist into prednisone. Addie wrinkles her nose. He's so charming. I'm aware. But it would have been fine if it were only you. You always know what to do. I bark a laugh. That is not something I would ever say about myself. Addie rolls onto her back, letting out a frustrated groan. I thought we were supposed to have our lives together by the time we were 30. Hey, I still have 2 years. She lets out a sardonic laugh. Well, my apartment sucks, the cost of living is astronomical, and I love my mom. You know I love my mom. I do. But she's getting crazy, Mace. She's starting to do all this plastic surgery. Wait, like what? Her mom had a boob job, but that happened when we were in college. Like fillers and lipo. Her face is starting to look weird. Addie reaches for her phone and pulls up a picture. I wince. She really is almost unrecognizable. Addie sets her phone on the side table. I wouldn't even care if it was making her happy, but she's getting obsessive, always criticizing her body, and that's everyone in LA. Like, if you're not enrolled in the celebrity Pilates class and drinking whatever green juice is trending, you're a lesser member of the species. Well, you kind of are. Addie snorts. Really, think of your antioxidant levels and spine health. She devolves into giggles. Stop, you're going to make me start itching again. We talk about whether she's spoiled. My vote is no. And whether she should consider moving back to Colorado. My vote is yes. And then she falls asleep in the middle of a sentence about how much she loves the Denver airport. Obviously, a drug-induced statement. It's only 9 o'clock, and being tucked into bed with a book before 10 feels like the ultimate indulgence. I read for a while, then check her breathing, and send message updates to the group. They're listening to a live band in the lounge, and for about 2 seconds, I think about joining them before I realize that would require me to put on pants. I go to the bathroom and am just about to turn off the lights when a soft knock sounds at the door. It's probably one of the girls, so I don't bother to cover up. I swing the door open and Not one of the girls. Noah stands in the hall, and even though he has the decency not to drop his eyes and scan my tight tank top and underwear, the tips of his ears go pink. Hey. Hey! Laura gave me the room. You're fine. I cling to the door like a baby koala, trying to hide my bare thighs. She okay? I nod. Sleeping. Can I? He gestures to the room. You don't trust my assessment? He grins. Just for my own peace of mind? I open the door wider and step back to let him in, then search for my bamboo shorts as he walks toward the bed. Thankfully, they're right on top of my drawer. I pull them on and try to act casual when Noah turns. Her breathing sounds good. I cross my arms over my chest. Agreed. He straightens but doesn't move to leave. You did well today. Hey, you did the heavy lifting with the meds. We need to reimburse. No, it was $18. But you're not an official doctor yet. You must be up to your eyeballs in debt. Exactly. What's $18 more? I laugh, then clap my hand over my mouth. Noah's smile is out in full force. He points to my bed and says, Come sit down. My heart stutters. I'm good. I'm not being weird. You just look tense. You rubbed my back today, so let me return the favor. I raise an eyebrow. I applied sunscreen. It was very relaxing. I try to come up with some other argument, but the temptation is too great. My neck and shoulders are killing me, and I already know how his hands feel on my skin. Doctor's orders. Just for a minute, I say. Got it. He clasps his hands behind his back while he waits for me to sit, then positions himself behind me. The mattress gives, and I have to shift to keep from rolling into his lap. My blood is rushing before his hands land on my shoulders, and when they do, his thumb glides along the top of my shoulder, finding the edge of my trapezius. He knows exactly where he is, pressing just enough to make the muscle respond, to make it give. I suck the sigh back in, embarrassed. Don't do that, he murmurs. Do what? Tense up? Sorry. Or apologize. He shifts his fingers and presses deeper, following the line of tension down toward my shoulder blade. Were you scared today? Yes. Me too. His thumbs press in, and my head tips forward. He rubs all the way up to the base of my skull and finds my cranial pressure points. Breathe, he says, and I force a deep inhale. Allergies scare the hell out of me. In med school, I had an ER rotation. A kid came in with a peanut allergy, hives, itchy, but he was breathing fine and talking to us. Then his voice changed and he started swelling. We got epi in, got his airway, but it was... His hands pause on my shoulders. Close. Terrifying. His thumbs go back to work, and my own story bubbles up. When I was 16, my sister called me into her room. She didn't want her parents to know, but she'd done drugs for the first time, said she felt weird. I shake my head a little. I thought I was so adult and I could handle it. I close my eyes. Looking back on that night with what I know now is painful. It wasn't her first time. She was a full-blown addict at that point, and she easily could have died. I would have blamed myself for the rest of my life. She was slurring her speech, couldn't keep her eyes open, and then she'd start crying and groaning. Oh, I know that, exactly. Noah pressed into my neck, tipping my head to the side. I stayed with her. I continue. All night, sitting on the floor next to her bed, counting her breaths, turning her on her side, shaking her when she got too still. She stopped breathing once. Noah nudges my head the other direction and works the muscles on the other side. You saved her life. I let out a long exhale. I don't know. I've wondered for a long time if I should have said something about that night. Maybe she would have gotten better faster. Is she better now? I nod, and Noah moves his fingers into my hair, rubbing my cranial pressure points. She's been sober for the past 8 years. Amazing. She still struggles, though. My parents are always on high alert. Noah makes a small noise, his hands stilling for a brief second before starting up again. What? No, I just realized that's probably why you like to take care of people. I frown. What do you mean? I turn to face him and he drops his hands. If your older sister was high needs, you might have taken on the burden of being low needs. He watches my face, and when I don't respond, he starts to backtrack. Or maybe not, I don't know. I press a finger to his lips. How Did you just explain something in one sentence that sums up the last 10 years of my life? He reaches up and pulls my hand back from his mouth. Have you ever done therapy? I shake my head. They probably could have said it, maybe better than I did. But you said it. He wraps his hand around mine. I did. My mind whirs like a helicopter seed falling from a maple tree. Have I always been like that, or did I adapt when my family was in survival mode? What would my personality be if my sister hadn't ever gotten into trouble? What would my relationship be with my parents? I still feel miles away from them, even when we're in the same room. But that's probably because I'm always catering to them, never asking for what I want or need. They don't know me, I whisper. And maybe I don't even know me. Noah shifts over on the bed, pulls the covers out from under me and holds them up so I can climb under. When I'm horizontal, he tucks me in and lies down, curling around my body and pulling me to his chest. I know you, he says. I let out a puff of air. You've known me for 3 days. 3 days of vacation is like a month of normal life. You see people stressed out, in new situations, they're at their worst. It's why people always say to take a road trip with someone before you get married. From another reel? His laugh rumbles through me. That one's from my therapist. I pull my knees in, curving into him and letting his arm fall around my waist. You go to therapy? It's encouraged at CU. Not every week or anything, but so many med students burn out. Supposed to be helpful. Is it? For me, yeah. It's a safe place to talk. Safe. Exactly how I feel right now. Even though I'm analyzing everything about myself and my life at the moment, it doesn't feel scary or hopeless. Noah is like sunscreen. Every time he's around, I feel like I'm wearing an invisible shield from the worst parts of the world. My throat thickens, and tears sting the corners of my eyes. Did he just take care of me? I don't remember the last time that happened. My friends try, of course, but I never need anything. At least nothing that would justify them making some big sacrifice or putting themselves out for. But Noah didn't ask. He showed up and rubbed my shoulders, and he didn't let me say no. My breathing slows, the heat from his body and the movement of the ship making my head heavy. I think I hear him whisper, "Good night, Mace," before I tumble into sleep, head first. Macy. Addie's voice sounds like it's moving through water. Hey, Mace. I jolt, my eyes flying open, to find her hovering over me, already dressed, her makeup already applied. I curse under my breath. Oh, did I forget to set an alarm? What time is it? She laughs. You're fine. You still have 30 minutes. Since I went to bed so early, I couldn't sleep. Something moves next to me, and I let out a gasp. What the? And that's when I see him. Noah's lying on top of the blanket next to me, one arm bent under his head, still fully dressed except for his shoes. My pulse trips over itself. He looks dreamy. His shirt rumpled, his mouth relaxed, and his hair tousled. He takes in the two of us, then yawns and says, You're alive. Addie grins. And you're in my bedroom. Chapter 14. Welp, I did yoga the first day. It's now day 6, and I haven't done it since. To be fair, this morning I barely had time to rush back to my cabin and get dressed before breakfast. But I did find an extra earring back in my toiletry bag that fits my grandmother's stud earrings perfectly. I put them back in, and they feel snug. My head is reeling from last night. Noah slept next to me? The feel of his hands and everything he said, it's like whatever spell was cast on me at the beginning of this trip is broken. I look back at my past relationships with dizzying clarity, which is why I say I can't believe I ever stayed with Ben, for a week even, when all my friends are sitting at the table with their breakfast plates. They stare at me like I just spoke in tongues. Gianna puts a hand to my forehead. Who are you, and what have you done with my friend? Did Noah steal your soul during the night? Since he slept next to you? Addie draws the last part out, and everyone's eyes go even wider. She smirks like that was the exact reaction she was going for. You didn't already tell them? I ask. She shakes her head. This was way more fun. They all start talking at once, and I hush them, lowering my voice. I was watching Addie, making sure she was okay, and Noah stopped by because you gave him the room number, by the way. So I let him in, and then he offered to give me a back massage. Was it a back massage or a back massage? Chris asks, and Laura snorts. I ignore her and finish. We were talking, and I fell asleep. End of story. Gianna spears a sausage on her fork. It wasn't the end of the story. Noah stayed. I nod, swallowing hard. Yes, he did. I know you. His words from last night snap through me like pop rocks. Speak of the devil, Addie says. Noah walks toward our table, his hair still damp from his shower. He's wearing a Henley t-shirt today with the man capris he bought at the shop. My stomach flutters. Good morning, everyone. His smile is out in full force. He gives me one long look, then turns to Gianna. Do you have lunch plans? Gianna smiles, not at all disturbed by the question. She just tips her head and says, Not currently. Would you like to have lunch with me? Noah asks. There's a lavender farm just outside town. I looked it up this morning. They do tasting menus and have a terrace with a view of the water. Shock drops over me like a blanket. Was Noah talking to the whole table or just Gianna? Gianna folds her hands beneath her chin. That sounds lovely. Lovely. Zero hesitation. You're free? I thought we were all doing lunch, I say before I can stop myself. We hadn't talked about our plans, but it was assumed. Gianna's eyes flick to mine, and there's that glimmer she gets when she's pleased with herself. It's a date. My mouth drops open, my head swiveling between Noah and Gianna. Was this why he looked so pleased after our conversation about dating around? He already had a backup plan, colluding with my best friends? Noah draws a deep breath and exhales like he just finished work on a Friday afternoon. You know, this cruise has really given me a lot of experience. Last night I stayed the night in a woman's room. He winks at Addie. And today I'm going on another date. Really getting around, Laura smirks. I set my fork down. No, last night doesn't count as a date. What does it count as then? Noah asks. My throat works. He shrugs. I'm taking your advice seriously. I didn't mean to date now on this cruise. You didn't specify. Noah, dating takes time. You can't learn everything you need to know in one date or even two. He drops a hand onto the back of Addie's chair. I guess we'll find out. He turns to Gianna. I got plans for the morning, but does 11:30 work? He has plans? Gianna nods. I'll be there. Noah gives a smug grin, then walks to the buffet line. I turn to Gianna. He didn't even tell you where to meet. I'm sure it'll be easy to figure out. You planned this ahead of time. Gianna holds up her hands. Macy, you said you didn't want to date him, and the man asked me on a date. Are you saying you don't want me to go? I blink at her. What was I saying? I'm saying I don't like that he's trying to make me jealous. Are you jealous? She raises an eyebrow. I purse my lips but can't bring myself to say it out loud. So much for Noah fitting in with our friend group. I resume the deconstruction of my eggs Benedict. It's fine. Great. I'm sure lunch will be lovely. Chris coughs, then takes a long drink of her orange juice. The rest of the morning drags with the torturous drip of a slow IV pump. We walk through Havar's old streets, but I can't bring myself to fully enjoy the charm of bright shutters and potted herbs spilling from windows. We stop at a bakery where I lead an ingredient interrogation using Google Translate before Addie's allowed to buy anything. Shellfish remains our leading theory, so no mysterious sauces or shared fryers. She's taking a couple of Zyrtec a day as a precaution. As soon as we exit with our breads and pastries, Gianna announces that she has to go. She gives hugs all around, and when she gets to me, she pauses, her hands on my shoulders. I love you. It doesn't feel like it. She reaches up and touches my grandmother's diamond stud. What guy goes into a sewer on the hope of finding an earring? I think back to the women across the street in Rovine. One who's a little stupid? Gianna snorts, then looks at me, her eyes twinkling. Exactly. From that moment on, every piazza we cross reminds me that Noah is somewhere else. Gianna is off drinking lavender spritzes, and the conversations they might be having play in my head like a mixtape. We walk the steps to the Havar fortress and catch our breath, taking in the city and sea below. I love how it all matches. Laura scans the endless white walls and terracotta roofs. The uniformity intermixed with lush greenery and the brilliant blue of the sea makes me feel like I'm living in a painting. There are so many different kinds of beauty in the world. I love Boulder, with its ivy and old oak trees and its unique old houses mixed in with the minimalist and modern. Every place has a story, and I want to know them all. I brace my hands against the stone wall, warm and rough under my palms, and lean out just enough to feel the height of where we're standing. This view had to be on Noah's romance list, though lunching in the lavender fields might take the cake. I scan the edges of the city, looking for the field they might be sitting in right now. Something twists in my chest when I realize that here I am, standing above an entire smorgasbord of beauty, and I'm still looking in one direction. His. Did I ever cross campus or walk through town looking for Ben, for Liam? Holding my breath, wishing I could catch a glimpse? What do you want, Mace? By the time we get back on the ship for happy hour, my glutes and thighs burn and my brain feels like it was thrown in a Vitamix. I slam a combination of ibuprofen and caffeine to stave off the headache pulsing at the base of my skull, and, after refreshing in my cabin where Gianna is notably not present, I meet the rest of my friends in the lounge. We commandeer a table near the windows, order drinks, and break out cards. Josh is there looking a little sunburned, and I wonder if he was the one Noah had plans with this morning. Then, in the middle of our game of rummy, Gianna arrives. She walks in with flushed cheeks, wild curls, and sunglasses on her head. Chris fans herself with her cards. Well, well. Gianna sits, sets her bag down, and exhales. That was amazing. My spine stiffens. Noah was a complete gentleman, she says. I've never had a guy hold doors or pull out my chair on a date, and he bought me lavender honey. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a jar with floral fabric tucked around the lid. Did you walk through the fields? Chris asks. Gianna nods. There were these stone terraces, and the whole place smelled amazing. So many honeybees. That bastard, I mutter. Addie drops her head onto the table, laughing. Gianna reaches back into her bag and pulls out a muslin satchel tied with purple ribbon. She holds it out to me. Smell. I roll my eyes. I don't need olfactory proof of your betrayal. She laughs, holding it closer. Come on, just smell it. I take the satchel. Dried lavender buds shift inside it, pale and fragrant. As I lower my nose to take a drag, I frown. There's a little tag attached to it, and my name is written on one side. I flip it over and read, It could have been you. My cheeks flush. Surprise and anger and delight rushing through me. My eyes dart to Gianna's. She's watching me, probably waiting to see if I'll laugh or cry or fly off the handle. I'm still trying to decide whether I'm furious, flattered, or both when flickering light draws my attention. A woman who looks about 70 and is dressed for a much more glamorous vacation than the rest of us walks through the doors of the lounge in a deep blue sequin dress. She has silver hair, coral lipstick, large glittering earrings, and a silk scarf tied at her throat. And on her arm? Noah, now dressed in a suit and tie. They walk straight toward our table. Good evening, he says, his eyes dropping to the satchel in my hand. Trudy, these are my friends, Macy, Addie, Laura, Gianna, and Chris. Trudy grins. Oh, how lovely. This young man's been telling me all about you. Addie reaches out and shakes Trudy's hand. Hopefully only good things. Oh, yes, she says. He rescued my sunglasses earlier. They were on a chair, Noah says. And then, Trudy continues, patting his hand, he insisted I join him for a drink. As my date. Noah gives me a pointed look. Doesn't count, I mouth. It counts, he mouths back and inclines his head. Enjoy your evening. He leads Trudy to the bar, and for the next 20 minutes we forget about our card game. Noah's performance is better than reality TV. He feeds Trudy olives, he laughs at every joke, he takes her hand when she talks. At one point she touches his cheek, and he kisses her hand. I know how much he likes kissing. Josh moseys up to our table, watching the display along with us. Where'd Noah find that total smoke show? He saved her sunglasses, Addie says. That's Noah for you, always saving something. Josh takes a step away, then turns back. He did that even as a kid, you know? I remember this one time we found a baby bird that fell out of its nest. He did research with my dad, and when they couldn't get it back into the nest, he mashed up worms and fed it through a little dropper. Did it live? Laura asks. Josh nods. They found a wildlife center or something and took it in the next day. He looks right at me when he says, Noah always wanted to be a doctor. Didn't matter how many career fairs he went to or how many people told him the medical insurance was too high. He never wavered. When he knows what he wants, it's a done deal. He shrugs and walks off to talk to another guest, and my hand lifts to feel my earring, still safely attached to my earlobe. I know you. It wasn't possible to know enough about someone after 1 or 2 dates. That's what I'd said at breakfast. But thinking about last night, about the last 3 days, really, and watching him laugh with Trudy makes all of it fall flat. I do know who Noah is. I think we all do. Hey, Mace? Chris points at my phone, buzzing on the table. I blink. Ben's name is on the screen. I don't answer the call since it would cost me an arm and a leg. Plus, I don't especially want to talk to Ben. But I know there can only be one explanation for him trying to call me when I'm out of the country. His call goes to voicemail, and the seconds tick by until the summary of his message appears in my inbox. Everything in me goes still. Hey, I haven't heard back from you, so I don't know what you're up to, but my mom passed away last night. It was peaceful. She asked about you. I stop reading, the words blurring. Mace? Addie puts a hand on my arm. I look up at Gianna. She's gone. Carol's gone. Chapter 15. Who's Carol? Addie asks. Gianna gives me a questioning look, and I nod. You can tell them. I stand, my stomach starting to cramp. I'm going back to the room. Gianna starts to rise, but I wave her down. No, you guys stay. Seriously, I just need a minute. Chris narrows her eyes. Macy? It's fine. I grab my purse and rush out, hoping they listen. Tears streak down my cheeks by the time I'm down the stairs and marching across the lobby. The hallway to my cabin feels interminably long, and by the time I get my door open, my stomach really is cramping, hard enough that I bend over and barely get my shoes off before curling onto the bed. It's my fault. I left and Carol was vulnerable, and it's my fault she died. I picture her exactly as she looked the last time I saw her. Cardigan buttoned up, lipstick feathered a little at the edges. My stomach twists again. You abandoned her. She suffered not knowing where you were. Now you're going to ruin everyone's trip because you're sad. I lie there and cry for what seems like at least 20 minutes. Time is relative. And when the tears finally stop, I pull out my phone. I was planning to listen to Ben's message, but there's a text sent just now from Gianna. If you want to be alone, I'll leave you alone, but I want you to think about it. What do you want right now? Please don't be afraid to ask for it. The words bring tears to my eyes again. What do I want right now? I don't know how to answer that question. I want Carol not to be dead. That sentence echoes through my brain, and I drop to the floor, lying flat on my back and drawing a deep breath. What do I want? What do I really want? Warmth fills my chest as a new awareness takes root. I want to talk to someone. I want to not be alone. But as soon as the thoughts surface, as soon as I think about asking for help, the worry and guilt follow. Before they can dig their claws in fully, Noah's words flicker like a flashlight in a dark cave. You might have taken on the burden of being low needs. My breathing quickens. And was it possible that the story I believe isn't true? Just like I challenged Noah about his belief that a girl wouldn't stick with him through residency, did I need to challenge my own thinking? Were we all walking through the world assuming our needs, our wants weren't worthy of asking for? What proof do I have that my needs are unreasonable? That people, especially my friends, wouldn't want to help? Yes, my parents had been overwhelmed with Paige, but did that mean they wouldn't have had room for me? That they couldn't have made space for my pain right along with hers? I sit up and open my phone, then send a text to Gianna. 30 seconds later, there's a knock on the door. The girls have arrived. Within 15 minutes, we're all in comfy clothes. Chris has ordered us room service, and Gianna commandeers the TV remote. Movie channel, she says. We need something distracting. The ship's movie selection appears to have been curated by someone going through a divorce in 2007. There are exactly 3 romantic comedies, a war movie, 2 documentaries about whales, and something called Love at High Tide, featuring a woman in a strapless sundress and a man holding a surfboard like it's a boombox from the 90s. That one, Chris calls out. Addie snorts and Gianna presses play. The first act is deliciously bad. Our heroine is a workaholic event planner from Chicago who is forced to return to her hometown beach after inheriting a failing surf shack from an aunt no one knew she had. The male lead appears shirtless, always, and says things like, "Sometimes the biggest wave is the one inside your heart." It's my new favorite movie. When the heroine gives up her prestigious job to save the surf shack and marry the man she's known for 6 days, we all cheer. And I fully recognize the irony. I'm about to get up and start clearing our plates when there's a loud bang on the door. We all jump. Another bang. Gianna pauses the movie. What the hell? Before she gets to the door, we hear, "Macy?" It's Noah's voice. Addie slaps a hand over her mouth just as Chris says, "Oh no, we forgot to tell Noah." Dread settles in my gut. We were supposed to be at dinner. We skipped it completely. Gianna pulls the door open and Noah storms in with Josh on his heels. He scans the room until his eyes land on me. His breathing slows. He's still in his suit, but his tie is undone and the top buttons of his shirt unhooked. His eyes are red-rimmed and his cheeks are flushed. Josh pushes in front of his brother. "It was my fault. I told Noah that if you were insisting he date around, then he should do it, flaunt it, show you what you were missing." Noah steps around Josh. "I didn't want to do it, but you wouldn't budge." Josh jumps in again. "And the older woman was my idea. I thought it would be funny, but I didn't know it would—" "Wait!" I hold up a hand. "Stop, just— what are we talking about?" Noah wipes the sweat from his brow. "I'm sorry, Macy. I came to apologize. Obviously you're mad and—" "No, I'm not mad." I lift from the bed and step over Laura to walk closer. I should be the one apologizing. I got some really bad news in the lounge and I came down to my room to be alone. But then I realized I didn't want to be alone, so they came down to watch a movie and we ordered room service, but we completely forgot about dinner and we didn't tell you. I suck in a breath. "I'm so sorry. I'm not mad." Noah's brow pinches, his eyes glossing over. "I'm sorry." "No, I'm sorry," I say, reaching for his hand. Josh looks between the two of us. "Holy shit. I mean, wow. There are 2 of them." Gianna puts her hand on his shoulder. "Welcome to the party." Noah ignores them. "What happened? I mean, what news did you get?" "A text from my ex. His mom passed last night." Noah's shoulders drop. He pulls me into his chest and wraps his arms around me. "Oh, Mace, I'm so sorry." The tears come again. I close my eyes and bury my face in his shirt, then pull back. "Wait, is this washable?" "Just—" Noah cups his hand around my head and nudges it back down. I'm vaguely aware of the clink of plates and whispers as Noah walks me to the bed, turns, and pulls me down on top of him. I stretch out along his body, threading my leg with his. "Mace, we're going to go over to Chris's room," Gianna says. I nod my head. "I want to be with Noah." She laughs. "Yep, got it." "Anything I can do?" Josh asks. My head pops up. "Are there any of those brownies on the menu tonight?" I've craved them since the first night we had them, but they haven't appeared again. Josh grins. "I think I could make something happen." I wipe my cheeks. "If you can bring 2, no, actually 4. "Are we worried she's getting a little too good at this?" Laura says, winking at me. Addie laughs. "Bring her all the brownies." Chapter 16. So, I'm dating Noah. There's no swell of music, no perfect line, though Noah's honestly had plenty. No lightning strike of certainty or a swell of music with a wind machine. But after spending another night in his arms, I figure my actions are speaking louder than my words. "I'm still offended by the lavender note," I tell him at breakfast the next morning. "That's fair." "And the senior citizen display was excessive." "I think you liked it." That's beside the point." Noah leans in and kisses my cheek right there in front of the omelet station. His eyes light up. "I can do that whenever I want." My heart does a little somersault. He shakes his head, his smile brighter than a spotlight. "Having a girlfriend is the best." The five of us, plus Noah and Josh, rent scooters and V's and wobble our way toward a beach that Chris heard about from one of the staff members on the boat. The road curves through vineyards and scrubby green hills, giving us little flashes of sea so blue it doesn't look real. The beach is half pebbles, half rock, and besides a few locals, we're the only ones there. We swim and sunbathe, talk, and eat the apples and bananas Addie was smart enough to smuggle from the buffet. A man fishing off the shore helps Noah find a spot to cliff jump, and we all take turns catapulting ourselves into the surf. My heart still hurts, thinking about Carol, but after talking with Gianna in the water, I'm no longer beating myself up about it. Maybe I could have delayed it by being there. Or maybe she would have died months ago had I not been there in the first place. Either way, showing up helped her, and that was all I could do. Noah kisses me in the ocean, on the beach, and on the cliffs. He barely takes a step without holding my hand, and when I'm in my bathing suit, he's constantly touching me. I've never felt so wanted. We scooter into town for a late lunch where we eat grilled vegetables, bread, cheese, olives, and fish, vetted for Addie's sake, of course. Then there's a local musical group on the ship after dinner and the chance of seeing a meteor shower, so we all cuddle up on the top deck when the ship sets sail and watch the stars. Noah kisses me there, too. The next day in Korčula, we explore the medieval walls and courtyards, hike for more amazing views, and search for a leather journal for Laura. We don't find one, but Chris discovers a wine bar with a very flirty owner, and we laugh away the afternoon before picking up more souvenirs and heading back to the ship, where I finally discover Noah's cabin number. In Dubrovnik, we kayak. I laugh when we hit a small wave, and Noah gets a face full of seawater. That's the opening act of the Great Dubrovnik Water War. By the time we beach near a little cove, all of us are soaked. At dinner that night, sunburned and exhausted, Gianna isn't the only one who looks like she survived a wilderness retreat. Something about the sand and the sea brings out our inner hippies. I don't wear any makeup for dinner, and I'm pretty sure Addie and Gianna have gone braless since V's. The next day is Montenegro, and it feels like a story we get to step into. We catch a ferry first thing to Our Lady of the Rocks, an island that shouldn't exist. It was built stone by stone over centuries by sailors dropping rocks into the bay after surviving storms, and in the middle of it, there's a tiny church, a pale blue dome against a backdrop of ocean and mountains. Back on the mainland, cats stretch in sunlit doorways like they own the place. Church bells ring, and we stop for every photo Addie wants to take. We wander, take wrong turns, get lost, and find our way back to the old town, then finally meander back to the boat. I think about asking to sleep over at Noah's. We haven't done more than make out, and of course I want to, but I'm letting him take the lead on this one. These are his firsts, after all, and I want him to take those steps when he's ready. But when he comes up behind me at the doors of the dining room before dinner and wraps his arms around my waist, whispering, "Are you free tonight? I'd like to try some things." Any resolve to take this slow crumbles. I can barely focus on dinner, even though it's one of the best steaks I've ever had, and I'm almost shaking by the time I meet him at his cabin with my toiletry bag and a change of clothes. He looks down at the bag and grins. A little presumptuous. My eyes fly wide, and he laughs out loud. I'm kidding. He grabs me as I try to smack him and pulls me into the room. The beds are already pushed together into a queen instead of two twins. I scoff. A little presumptuous. Noah laughs and picks me up, sets my things on the side table, and tosses me onto the mattress. I hope you're not tired. This could take a while. I purse my lips as he crawls over me, his hair falling over his forehead. Noah? I'm not sure what you read online, but this is your first time. Pretty sure it won't take a while? He gives a wolfish grin. I wasn't talking about me. Chapter 17. Finally, a day at sea. Noah and I don't fall asleep until past 4 in the morning, and we sleep in until 11, missing breakfast. When I roll up to the top deck, my friends don't even pretend to be discreet. They want all the details, and I'm love-drunk enough to tell them every last one. When we meet Noah in the restaurant for lunch, all 4 of them give him high fives. We take naps in the early afternoon and then claim chairs by the railing with our books. The ocean stretches out in every direction like we're floating in the middle of a screensaver. Noah spends the afternoon with Josh, and that's more than okay by me. While I want him every second, I want him to get what he needs with his family more. Plus, it makes seeing him walk into the restaurant that night all the sweeter. I keep waiting for something to happen, something to pop this little bubble we're living in, but it never does. Noah shows up when he says he's going to, and more importantly, as the same person each time. Any surprises from him are pleasant ones, not moments I have to apologize for. Over dessert that night, Noah pulls out a bag and hands it to Laura. She frowns and opens it, then gasps with delight. "Where did you find this?" She pulls out a leather journal, the exact size she'd been looking for in Korčula. Noah grins. "Josh found it. He had a couple of errands to run in Montenegro, so I told him to keep his eyes out." Laura presses it to her chest. "What do I owe you?" He shakes his head. "It's a gift." Yeah, I know who Noah is. I don't know how it's possible. It makes no rational sense that I could love someone in 10 days flat, and it scares the hell out of me that in 2 days I'll have to get back on a plane to Colorado. I have no idea what happens then. Right there. This is normally where the sadness kicks in, the anticipatory grief, the part of me that starts mourning the pleasurable thing while it's still happening. But tonight, I sit at the same round table covered in crisp white linens with my 4 best friends and my boyfriend after spending another glorious afternoon in one of the most beautiful places on earth. And all I feel is peace, contentment, joy. Maybe that sadness came before because I knew when those moments were over, they wouldn't happen again. I'd go home and accept my reality and never ask for anything more. I didn't trust that it could happen again whenever I wanted. I didn't trust other people to want me again once the trip ended, once the dinner was over, and once everyone returned to their lives. But now, that's not true anymore. As uncomfortable as it was to have my friends hold up a mirror to my behavior, I'm glad they did. Now I know that if I want to visit Gianna, I can visit Gianna. If Addie needs company, or Laura finds a bookstore she thinks I'd love, or Chris decides we all need to meet in Chicago for a weekend, I can go. I can ask. I can plan. I can create 1,000 more of these moments if I want to. It's not selfish or burdensome. This trip is a unique experience, but it's not the last. It's one beautiful moment among all the others I haven't made yet. Noah's hand finds mine under the table just as Laura lifts her glass. "To one more night." "One more night," Gianna echoes. We toast, and I lace my fingers with Noah's. "One more night," I whisper, my heart full of gratitude, because I don't feel sad at all. Chapter 18. My alarm goes off in the morning, and when I turn my head on the pillow, I find Gianna's face mashed into the mattress, one arm flung over her head. We talked until late, so I'm not surprised she's dead to the world, but it's impressive that she doesn't even flinch with the beeping. I push out of bed and pad into the bathroom where both of our toiletry bags are already mostly packed. I wash my face and brush my teeth, then gather my things and tuck them into the bag, zipping it up. I wanted to spend my last night with Noah, of course, but we both agreed that it didn't feel right to ditch the girls since we still had a chance to see each other in Colorado. I exhale in a rush. Laura and I have a flight to catch back to Colorado tonight. Noah and I talked a little about what happens after we get off the ship. He's still there for a few days, but he's got a moving truck rented for the end of the week. His lease at an apartment in Boston starts on Monday. Gianna groans from the other room. "How is it light already?" I slide the bathroom door open. "Morning, sunshine." She sits up, her hair flying in all different directions. I grin. "Come here. Let me fix your curls." A few minutes later, we step into the hallway, dressed and carrying the last of our things in our backpacks since our luggage was taken off the ship early. Staff members weave past us, stripping bedding and directing passengers. We make our way to the restaurant and dish up our last breakfast buffet, then join the others at a table near the window. It's surprisingly quiet. Not that we could ever be done finding things to talk about, but at least for me, my heart is so full, it's hard to find words. Eventually, we discuss logistics. Laura and I will split off so we can get to the airport. Chris, Addie, and Gianna don't have a flight until late tonight, so they're going to catch a few things in the city first. Addie's in the middle of telling us about a gelato place she wants to try when Noah appears at the head of the table. I glance around, looking for a chair to pull up, but he waves me off. He looks around the dining room. "One second, I think." He spots Josh and grins, waving him over. "What are you doing?" I ask. Noah doesn't answer, but the tips of his ears are bright pink. When Josh arrives, he turns back to the table and clears his throat. "Today, we're getting off the boat." He swallows hard and drops his eyes. Josh claps a hand on his shoulder and whispers something that sounds a lot like, "You've got this." Noah nods, then draws a deep breath and straightens. He looks straight at me and says, "I'm in love with you, Macy." Addie drops her fork. "I know what you're going to say," he continues, "that I don't have enough experience to know that, or that you can't love someone in a week or 10 days or whatever. But experience isn't the same thing as certainty. Sometimes you don't need a long history of making choices to know when one of them is right." My chest pulls tight. "When I decided I wanted to go to med school, I was, 11? He glances at Josh. 12, Josh says. 12, Noah repeats. My parents assumed it was a phase, but I knew it was right. The same thing happened when I chose my school, when I chose my roommate. Maybe the reason I didn't date wasn't because I was too scared, but because I hadn't had that moment yet. I wasn't sure. But when I saw you sitting at that table the first night," he shakes his head. "I've had other chances to date, Mace. I've had other women interested, but I wasn't. And now I know why. I'm not somebody who changes my mind every 5 minutes. I'm not impulsive, even though this might look like it. I know what I want. And I want you." I barely notice that the rest of the dining room seems to have gone quiet. My eyes sting, my heart expanding so fast it feels like my chest might burst. "You're my favorite part of this trip," he says. "Not a port, not an excursion, and I don't know every detail of what happens next. I can't map out the whole thing for you from this exact moment to 10 years from now, and I'm not going to insult you by pretending I can. But I know what I want. I want more of you. More mornings, more dinners. I want to take care of you and kiss you and hold your hand and other things that I can't say in front of my brother." I laugh, tears spilling over onto my cheeks. "And I know this is a lot, but I love you, and..." Noah reaches into his pocket. For one deranged second, I freak out, thinking he's going to produce a ring. My soul briefly leaves my body, then slams back in when he pulls out a folded bill. I suck in a breath, a little dizzy, as he reaches out and slaps it down on the table. $100. "Mace, I bet you," he says, voice breaking, "that you can't move to Boston with me." Epilogue. There is a specific kind of quiet that only exists at the end of a long night shift. It's a soft hum, a unique frequency. I smooth the blanket over my patient's legs, tucking it just under her feet the way she likes, tight enough to feel secure, loose enough that she won't complain in 10 minutes that she's trapped. "Good night, Mary." She eyes me as if I've personally betrayed her. "You say that every night you're here." "And every night I mean it." She sniffs, but her hand finds mine anyway, papery and warm. "You never come to visit me anymore." I lean my hip against the edge of the bed. "I was only gone for a little while." "It felt longer." "Time is relative." I pat her hand and tuck it under the blanket. "I went on vacation to visit some of my best friends." "Am I one of your best friends?" I smile and turn off the lamp. "Of course you are. See you tomorrow, okay?" She nods, only a silhouette in the glow from the hallway. "Okay." I finish charting and cleaning, then swipe my badge, grab my bag, and step outside of the hospital. The air is colder than I expected, and I shiver. Should have brought a coat. It's been so warm this November that I forgot winter could arrive at any moment. I shift my bag higher on my shoulder and start down the sidewalk, already reaching into my pocket for my phone to check the time, debating whether I should call a rideshare, when I see a text from Paige. I stall to text her back. She still isn't super reliable in her communication, but since the summer, we've texted back and forth at least once a week. Her daughter has a birthday coming up, and Noah and I both want to be there if we can. As I press send, someone honks, and I jump. A car idles at the curb ahead of me, and I laugh out loud. The driver's door opens as I break into a jog. Noah rounds the hood and grunts as I run straight into him, then wraps me into a hug. "Why are you here? I thought you wouldn't be home until late." "Our case was canceled." I pull back, looking up at him. "But you're 40 minutes out of your way." "I thought you needed a ride." I kiss him. It's only been 12 hours since I saw him, and before that, we spent the whole weekend in D.C. together. Chris has a new boyfriend, so we went up to give our stamp of approval. He got it, with flying colors. Noah sucks in a breath when my hand touches his neck. "You're freezing." "Not that cold." He kisses my nose. "Get in the car." I slide into the passenger seat and, before he can pull away from the curb, reach into my bag. "I have something for you." He glances over, one brow lifting. I grin. Hold out your hand. Should I be worried? I laugh. Just do it. He obeys, and I drop the candy bar into his palm. His eyes light up. It's a take 5, his favorite. Someone brought it into the break room, so I grabbed you one. You stole from me? He rips open the package and takes a bite, humming his approval. Okay, tell me about your day. We talk the whole way back to our apartment, and when we step out of the car, tiny flakes of snow are falling from the sky. Noah looks up. Our first Boston snow. I round the hood and wrap my arms around him. Another first together. So romantic. I still can't believe I'm here. Wanting to be with Noah wasn't a question, but leaving my patients? That was the hard part. Losing Carol may have been the only thing that helped me take the next step. I learned that I couldn't stop the sad moments from happening. Even if I gave up every waking moment to serve those around me, I still couldn't stop their suffering or keep them alive. All I could do was love them and care for them. But I was worth loving and caring for too. It turns out there are just as many patients needing help in Massachusetts as in Colorado. Noah laughs and spins me to face him. Have a fling with me tonight. I snort. What? A fling, he repeats. I grab his hand and drag him toward the door. I don't think we can do a fling. We've been together 6 months. A fling is irresponsible romantic behavior, he says, following me to the doors. How irresponsible are we talking? We push into the airlock, then through the next doors to the stairs. He hooks an arm under my legs, lifting me in one smooth motion and shifting me onto his back. I yelp, grabbing onto his shoulders, laughing as he carries me up the stairs. You're going to fall and kill us both. I told you, irresponsible. By the time we reach our floor, my heart is racing. Noah sets me down just long enough to unlock the door, then pulls me inside. The door clicks shut behind us, and he presses me up against it. Marry me, he says. I laugh, pushing against him, but he's got me pinned. Absolutely not. You're not even a full doctor yet. Noah kisses me, moving from my mouth to my neck and back again. My voice grows breathy. No self-respecting woman would stick with a guy through residency. He grabs me around the waist, walking backward to the bedroom. It's a huge risk. I can't believe you're asking, really. Noah grunts as he bumps his elbow on the door, then collapses onto the bed, pulling me with him. I lie there, his chest rising and falling beneath me. You okay? He nods. A funny bone. Noah reaches for my left hand and lifts it up so the ring on my finger catches the light from the hall. You still like it? Noah, you could have given me a twist tie and I would have loved it. He proposed over a month ago, but loved it so much that he asks me again every night. Yes, I'll marry you, I say, and drop my lips to his. It's exactly what I want. We hope you enjoyed this production of Peer Pressure, a Dreamboat Cruises rom-com. Written and narrated by Cynthia Gunderson. Copyright 2026, Button Press.